Hello and welcome everyone to the fourth week of the SMITE OPL. 4 out of 5 weeks done, Lynx clone. Already we're seeing a familiar pattern emerge with, Direwolves near the top of the leaderboard, but they're actually not the number one team in the standings right now.
No, you're absolutely right. Legacy have been playing really well so far. Have they actually gone up against the Direwolves though? Is the question for Legacy.
No, they're going to be facing off next week, and that's going to be definitely the matchup to watch next week. But for this week, though, we're going to kick it off with Team Noxide up against the LG Direwolves. Noxide on the bottom of the ladder after a lot of roster changes. Looking to try and turn it around this week, but it's going to be a tough ask for them as they're going up against probably the best team in the region. First bans coming through, Raven taken off the board by Team Noxide, Fafnir banned away by the Direwolves.
Just a really smart ban by the Direwolves. They are in that second pick. They don't have the first option, so getting rid of the Fafnir immediately is a very smart call. They do not want to give Noxide any sort of advantage. If Direwolves, they want a very clean victory. They don't want to have Noxide just get anything from them at all. However, the Raven and Circuit bans, they also make a lot of sense. Circuit, definitely one of the strongest gods still in the game, and Osiris, another very much a first pick potential.
The Saket off the board early is a big telling sign for me for Noxide that Just Speedy is not comfortable playing this one in the jungle, so they're going to go ahead and just make sure that the Direwolves can't play that at all and just can take that really powerful pick off the board. And they get themselves a really nice first pick here with the Bologna. It does open up Terra and Ho Yi to be picked up by the Direwolves, though, two very strong picks in their own right.
Especially the Yu. We've seen Mingyu do an absolutely amazing performance on the Yu, making sure he lands all those really nice double and possibly even triple ricochets just because he's such a mechanically skilled player. However, on the other side of Noxide, we see a Khepri, which is quite a strong pick, which can work quite nicely in the correct composition. However, you do need someone to be in that front line to compensate for the fact that Khepri usually does hang around that mid to back line ready with the Scarus Blessing.
Yeah, and so they have the Bologna that will give them some initiation, but I like to see a big kind of jungle presence to initiate for the team as well. Susano picked up here for the Direwolves a lot of mobility to chase down that Thoth. Ro has played Susano before to a very high level. Kernando spanned away by the Direwolves, and now Poseidon taken away by Team Noxide.
And now there's still quite a few options for bans. We see the actual Ram ban come through from the Direwolves, a very nice smart ban, just targeting out Noose there. We've seen him either play Ram or Kernanos. That's really all we've basically seen out of Noose. So taking away these very, I wouldn't say I guess Kernanos is a bit of both really because of how strong he is, but those in-hand gods who build the desktop, possibly even Devo gloves and a lifesteal heavy build. So just taking those away from Noose to make it even more uncomfortable.
Camazot's picked up here for the Direwolves, and unless this is like a mid lane Camazotz or something, I'm suspecting this is the solo lane for Kiki Amiro. We saw Variety play this a lot at Worlds, and World Direwolves are very close with Team Dignitas over in EU, so I guess they must have picked up something from them. For Kiki Amio, Jingwei and Ratatoska picked up for Noxide. I really like this Ratatoska pick. I was saying that I'd like to see another really big initiation from Noxide out of the jungle, and that's where they've gone with this Rat pickup. Because Khepri and Bologna just aren't the greatest initiators. And now we see Sol picked up for the Direwolves. Yet again, another pick that Team Dignitas has been prioritizing heavily, and looks like the Direwolves are learning from their playbook.
Yeah, the Soul pick is really nice, but it goes really nice with the Huyi. The Huyi, even though he has Penance build, isn't the fastest at pushing, and with a Soul combined with the Terra healing, it just allows the Direwolves to push really quickly and get through those objectives nice and fast. Not to mention the Camazots, now with the recent shift to shield changes, can go into this Bruisery build and still do absolutely fine, and actually can sustain one of the few gods who can actually keep up the man fight against Blona thanks to that leap from the heal from the 3.
As well as I really like the Soul pick because of the recent adjustments to it as well. You know, reducing the taking away the movement speed penalty when you're casting your 2 is such a huge buff to Soul and her mobility and her ability to follow up on her ultimate. So this Soul pick is not only just another great auto attacker for objectives like Gold Fury, like Portal Demon, like Fire Giant, like Towers, but also just a great mage now overall because of the sheer amount of power she can output.
The only thing though Ochita does need to be careful of, compared to the Supernova, the Final Judgment is going to do one big wallop of damage to that Gold Fury. And if Ochita isn't careful, Rana Brana can just sneak in there and land the Final Judgment to steal it away. So Direwolves, they really need to be on their objective zone in game if they want to get the Gold Furies early on.
Exactly right. They need to be very conscious of what Noxide are doing. Mid lane Ochita's been left to fend for himself, as we're actually seeing Richard Castle and Mingyu start off their own red buff rather than go to lane. So it looks like both these duo lanes are going to miss a few minions. And looking at Noxide, they only pick up the small creeps on their red buff and then are moving over to their purple buff. Well, it's just Noose there actually picking that one up. So Daiwa's going to get the push over on the left-hand side. We are seeing a great response here from Noxide. Blaine Anderson and Rana going ahead and stealing away that speed buff from the Direwolves, and it looks like the blue buff was thinking about being invaded there by Osha, but with Rowan Kiki finally clearing the wave, they keep the better of it.
Yeah, just taking the speed buff away from Susanoo is enough to really shut him down. He already gets a lot of mobility from his passive whenever he uses an ability to get increased move speed, and the speed buff alone increases that even more. However, over in the two-way lane, Noose is getting solo there. The thing, a really smart strategy, which we kind of glazed over while they were doing those buffs. Terra clear level 1, not so good. Terra clear level 2, however, now that is extremely good clear, combining that with the Force of Nature as well as the Monolith.
What they did as well on the red buff is Richard Castle got his two. He got those standing stones up, and Mingyu got a triple bounce ricochet in between them on the red buff, so they cleared that really, really quickly, and that gave them enough experience that when they went ahead and cleared the wave, they hit level 2 before Noose anticipated the 2, so they got enough abilities online, enough CC to lock down that Jingwei and put her in the ground.
Over on the other side though, Osha actually managing to get the kill onto Roy. However, it seems like Kikime should be able to maybe find just Speedy, but Osha zoning quite nicely.
Yeah, Osha, not really a well-known player. Speedy gonna dash forward to open this right-hand side. Speedy and Osha actually getting the better of Kiki, Amiyu, and Ro, and that's not something we see in OCE.
And over in the mid lane as well, like Sheeta having a very rough time, already a level behind compared to both this Kepri as well as Run on this Thoth. And even though he doesn't have the best level 1 clear, once he gets past that level 1 hump, he is perfectly fine to keep on going as Direwolves now rotate to the mid lane.
Yeah, they actually caught the Kepri dash there with the walls from Terra. Miggy gonna jump in to knock him up and finish off the kill as well with a basic attack. So nice work there out of the Direwolves. Look at Team Noxide, we can actually see that Rana has moved to mid and Blaine Anderson into the support role. So I think this is a necessary roster change for Noxide. A lot of people are questioning why Rana was playing support at Blaine Anderson mid. I'm glad to see that they switched back.
Yeah, it's just a sheer the level of experience and mechanical skill that they have coming out of those two members. Just Blaine, as you mentioned, being rather new, and Rana, he's quite a veteran of the OPL. He's been playing since, I believe, Season 1 at least.
Yeah, he's been around for a very, very long time, and just a really skilled player, and that's kind of where he started off and made a name for himself, was in that mid lane. So he's kind of back to his original role. He's been all around the map now, and had a lot of different positions, but I'm very happy to see him back mid. Mid and ADC, I think, are his two best roles.
Yeah, those real carry roles, the roles where you can output a lot of damage, but stay just a little bit far back, while when you play a support, especially those very aggressive supports, you have a very different mentality. You're looking to really dive their backline, looking to be the one initiating, and looking for the ones to be doing a little bit more of the shot calling as well. So maybe they're just the comfortability for Rana to return to more of this carry, squishy kind of role.
Right-hand side, Osha and Kikimiyo are going to be boxing out, but Osha's really going to win that battle this early as a warrior, especially as a Bologna. Kikimiyo, being a Camazotz, has a ton of lifesteal and a ton of sustain, but Osha's just at a greater point than he is right now with a fully finished off Warrior Tabe. Bologna at level 6 is very, very scary to behold. And he's going to go ahead and invade the speed buff again of the Direwolves, along with just Speedy.
I'm really liking this aggression from Noxide. Instead of backing down after knowing they've realized they've lost the duel lane, instead they're going even more than aggressive as the through the Cosmos has been popped.
Kikimiyo, very low mana, but Speedy misses his ultimate and misses the stun afterwards. So Kikimiyo, just enough mana for his ult now, goes in and does a little bit of damage. Might have over-aggressed here, but manages to get back underneath his tower, so he's going to be alright for now.
Well, the important thing in that fight was that actually Terra had popped the Terra's Blessing, meaning that actually his ultimate cost 0 mana, just ensuring, one, that he was getting that constant little bits of tick heal, but also in case he wanted to save up that mana to leap away, he would have that mana necessary. As now Direwolves are doing the same on the other side, except this time they are invading the red buff.
They're going to go ahead and be able to take this one away. Rana is not going to be able to contest them. And they're going to go ahead and take the purple buff away as well. Might even look for a rotation towards this Gold Fury, given they have two auto attackers and their jungler in the area, but instead, Ochida and Richard Castle are just going to head back towards the mid.
So little pressure. She really is an auto attack based goal. It's kind of similar to Ram, but possibly even less global potential just due to the fact that compared to a Ram ultimate, a Jingwei ultimate is quite a cumbersome ability.
Yeah, it's very difficult to line up. You really need some CC to guarantee it, or just to catch an enemy with their movement abilities down and in a really uncomfortable position. But it's more of a team fighting ultimate than a Ram ult is. The Ram ult is designed to pick up one opponent, but the other benefit of a Jingwei ult is it is a great escape. We're seeing it used there by Noose to get away from Mingyu as he landed a very nice double tap. So the other benefit of Jingwei is her passive now. While it's not as strong as it used to be, so she's not going to get all the way back to her tower out of base, it does severely cut down on the time you need to get back to your tower, so Noose shouldn't lose out on too much farm when he heads back to lane.
And now he's actually already finished off the Devourer Gauntlet and he's going to be stacking that pretty soon. He actually has opted to rush the Devo Glove, not really wanting... Because he knows, as you mentioned, has that mobility from the passive to get back to wave. Doesn't really need the full Warrior Tarbai just yet. Well, Mingyu, he's going for a much more aggressive build as Osha gets a kill on the other side of the map.
Yes, Speedy was diving in there as well, used his ultimate, so Kiki got bopped there by the jungle and solo lane of Team Noxide. So focusing out the solo lane, this has been the tactic to beat Direwolves basically, is to put pressure over on this right-hand side of the map and to beat up Kiki Amiru basically, because Kiki's such a core component of the Direwolves holding down the solo lane, but if he gets put severely behind, if he gets focused out, they have a really rough time moving towards the mid game when I think Kiki really starts to control a lot of the pace of the team. As well as that, you get a lot of pressure over this right-hand side, you get a lot of kills. It opens up the speed and blue buff to invade, which we've seen Osha and Just Speedy do really, really nicely, and basically invading that buff on cooldown, which then puts Ro behind as well. And, you know, when Darkseid had beat Direwolves, or split with Direwolves earlier in the split, that's how they did it. They put Ro behind, they put Kiki behind.
Speaking of going on Kiki, Kiki actually forced back a bit as Osha trying to invade with Just Speedy and Blaine Anderson onto the speed buff, but Ro and Ochida all in the area as the Typhoon has been used.
Typhoon comes out, knocks up Blaine Anderson, who's forced to use the Kepri ultimate on himself. Very, very low. Finally pops the revive. Dothol coming through from Rana. Hits Robert. Kiki's already picked up Blaine Anderson. Osha's still going DP. He's 3 levels above Kiki. Gets a nice 2-man stun there, but there's no one to follow up from that Eagles rally, and Ochida picks him up with a supernova.
Yeah, currently, it looks like they don't have any hand. Mingyu with a nice jump in as well as a breaking trade that gets Rana extremely low, and Mingyu will finish it off with the auto attack. Just Speedy trying to dive in, but he knows he's going to have to retreat. There is no way he can compete with the sustain of the Terror.
And now, after kind of taking an ill-advised fight, or, you know, a fight with bad target calling, Direwolves that's opened them up to go ahead and invade this right-hand side of the map from Noxide. And so the advantage that Noxide had over here on the solo side has pretty much all but disappeared.
And the scary thing as well, like Cheetah is in the area, so if they want to push down this tower, which it seems like they're not, they're going to play it a little bit more safe. They know Just Speedy could be around the corner. But once they actually go for a tower, they want to go for something, it will not take them long. The Soul already has the Shears of the Magi, and with a Bancross talent on the way, that's going to be hanging around, I'd say around 150 magical power already this early in the game. It's going to be quite a nice thing, as well as obviously Soul's passive, when she uses those auto attacks, increases her power even more. Just all this power straight onto her tower.
As well as the Bancross passive as well. The lower health she is, the more power she gets, the more lifesteal she gets. So this Soul going to be getting a very early power spike. It's going to be a whole lot of magical power ahead of this Goth, who's currently sitting around 8.
Over in the Solar lane, Kiki and Mio are trying to run away with that Terrace Blessing of the Leap, and Rory has actually come to save the day.
Ro, a lot of mobility, so he's going to be able to escape a little bit quicker if he wants to. Typhoon coming out, though, to pick up the Ratatoska, so Ro not looking to escape the bait, but looking to find a kill. Kiki Mio's gone back in, he's very low, but he's managing to sustain with those Camazot's ability. He's up in the sky, flying around, doing bat things, basically, and looking to pick up the kill onto Osha, but it's a little bit disjointed, this attack here from the Direwolves. Rana with a final judgment, but Ro's going to blink away from that one. He pulls back in the bug. Rana looking for the stun, but he can't quite land it. Ro in a lot of trouble, but he manages to get away, and Ochida picks the kill on Rana with a supernova, and Kiki finally picks up Osha.
Noose using the airstrike try and maybe get some final ticks of damage, but Direwolves, they're willing to go deep. Cheetah with a double kill thanks to the Stellar Burst, and Direwolves with a full minion wave can look to possibly push this wave.
They're going to be able to take the blue buff away at the very least. Actually, Just Speedy comes crashing down, only managed to hit Ochida though. He's trying to find Kiki Amiyu, and he will here, but it will probably be at the cost of his life. He dashes away, and Direwolves, they don't have the CC to stop him, and the blue buff is stolen, or was basically secured by Noxide there as well. Tremendous play there from Speedy.
That was just a slight bit gritty there going to the jungle. They should have really just focused out that tower. Tier 1, I think, is much more worth than taking away a blue buff from a Bologna who already has a Death Stole, as well as building into the Silver Breastplate for extra mana. However, we've been seeing now in these mid-game teamfights, Direwolves really benefiting from all that very, dot heals. You got the Camazot slowly healing up thanks to his 2 and his 3. You got the Terra's Blessing as well as the Monolith. And you even got Sol, who has a minor heal as well in her 1. So just all this is saying, currently it seems like Noxide, they don't have a real answer to it, and none of them have opted into any sort of anti-heal, as we can see.
I have to disagree with what you said about the with the tower. I think they should have just left, because there was no opportunity to take the tower. They don't have enough power online for it. They should have just gotten out, and this is a problem that Direwolves have struggled with now for a long time, and we saw this. This is how they lost that game to Energy at Smite Masters. They hung around too long after objectives, and now finally teams in OCE are starting to make them pay for that. You know, they used to be able to get away with it because they were so much better than the other cities, but with the team starting to catch up to them, they really need to learn to be more disciplined.
Well, speaking of discipline, currently Direwolves just going straight into the jungle of Noxide and taking away their speed without any sort of worries whatsoever. They know Noxide all caught under the T1 tower, and currently Noxide, they seem to be a bit more sheepish than before to actually go on the aggressives on Direwolves.
Speed buff taken by the Direwolves. Right-hand side mid-camp's coming up. They've got a ward leading it into that path of the jungle, but Ro got to go in and get some poke damage down onto Speedy and Rana. Rana still struggling in the experience department. 3 levels behind Ochita, who's hit level 12, so he's going to be getting his second relic online much earlier than this Thoth. And really, the Thoth needs that second relic a lot more than a Soul does, because a Soul's got a few inbuilt methods of escape, you know, with that Disapparate form and with the self-heal, whereas the Thoth really needs some escape from the CC. Blaine Anderson wants to pop the Kevin revive there, but Ro with the Typhoon is going to squash the bug flat in combination with Ochita, but Ro now just walks by Osha. Osha not willing to fight that Susano at this stage. Knows that if he starts fighting there, the rest of the Direwolves would soon collapse on him.
I think that really the scariest thing for Rana right now is that he's actually bottom of the net worth chart, below the Kepri and below Noose especially, which is even more of a scary thing. Jingwei takes a lot longer than the Hui to come online, and Noose has really been strangled by any sort of farm, as Mingyu's been really applying the pressure with the sun's coming down also onto Rana as we speak.
Just Speedy's up in the air as well, but there's nothing he can do here. What it does, though, is it forces Mingyu to back off of his mid laner. So he saves his mid laner there, even if it doesn't land down on the target. But Direwolves know now that big initiation tool for Noxide is down. So they're going to be able to apply some pressure over on this mid tower. They push a wave in here or two. They might even be able to look for the Gold Fury.
Yeah, and currently you can even see Rogue actually hanging around this blue buff on the solo hand side, as they see Osha is about 25% health. So they're just taking advantage of the fact that they know Osha has to back, and now if they want, they can go mid, force a fight, or even just start baiting out this Gold Fury due to the fact they have this level advantage, especially on Mingyu.
Oh, Blaine Anderson's plucked in there, but he does dash away. Richard Casa gets the root. Mingyu gets the stun, but he's forced to jump away as Noose is rotated in. Rana was charged up the final judgment, but no viable target to go on, so he holds that ability back. Over in the solo lane, Kiki Amiyo and Osha going to have a bit of a boxing match as the Terror's Blessing. Did that come out there from Richard Castle? It did. Not quite sure what the point of that was. I think he was thought keen to commit the fight a little bit more. But Osha's really winning this one heavily, despite the fact the Terror's Blessing came out. And so Kiki forced to stand behind his minion wave and can't really go too much further into this fight. And
he does need to be careful, Kiki, as we do see Osha has already picked up the Sunder, one of the strongest relics. A lot of people wanting it to be nerfed, and it just does so much for your team. We usually see it sometimes on the support as the first picker, as we see on Richard Castle. But it's nice to see that the solo laner, the Bologna, who's the one going to be really initiating over the Kepri, or even possibly the Ratatoska, be the one to actually have the Sunder on hand, especially since Bologna can easily build into that Brute Forge hammer, just applying even more, just adding more to the damage, really.
I think as well, because the Bologna, even though you said she might be an initiator, I think the fact that she's kind of like a second initiator is even more important, because once the Ratatoska goes in and chooses the target, and everyone else starts collapsing from Noxide, then, starts collapsing from the Direwolves, then Noxide can pick another target, and then he can choose who the Sunder's most effective to go on. As Speedy's picked up in the mid lane by Ro, the Typhoon comes out, but isn't enough to pick up Blaine Anderson. Osha's rotated in here to try and preserve his mid tower, but that's going to mean Kiki Amiyo has free reign over on the solo side.
Not only that, Direwolves know that since the Bologna's over there and the Thoth is all the way in the back lane, no one's even remotely close to this Gold Fury. They can finally take the first Gold Fury of the game 15 minutes in, as we take a look to the graphs. And currently, it's already starting to climb fairly heavily in Direwolves' favor. 7,000 experience, 5,000 gold. It's not game over yet, but Noxide, they need to start doing something to actually stem the bleeding.
Yeah, they're not playing around this Thoth at all. This is kind of their whole team comp is designed, you know, basically to save the Thoth and to set up for the Thoth. And thus far, you know, whether it's been Rana's farming or just the team not playing around him, this Thoth has been very, very ineffective. So they need to be doing more to help Rana out, get him some more farm, get him online a little bit quicker. He's currently the bottom net worth in the game, and we look at player damage as well. I mean, he's third on his team, but he's near the bottom of the total damage charts.
I'm kind of worried for Rana as well, as he's actually building into the Restored Artifact second item. There's only 2 items you can build off of that. There's the Rod of Beauty, which is a very late game, and we've got Osha getting tanked in the solo lane.
He's getting battered here by Kiki Amiyo up in that Kamazot's ultimate form. Osha still alive, but Ro falls down to just Speedy and some tower shots. Speedy trying to run away here, but here's Richard Castle and the rest of the Direwolves crew. Speedy pops his Aegis early. Kiki chunking him down there as Kamazotz and picks up the kill. So a 2-for-1 trade for Direwolves and a tier 1 tower over on this right-hand side.
But not on the right-hand side. Also in the duo lane at the exact same time, Mingyu also getting a tower on that side as well. So the first two towers have finally fallen. A little bit longer than usually for Direwolves, but they are already starting to push into these tier 2s. And once they get the tier 1 in mid, that's when the entire map opens up. And Noxide, they need to be very worried once that tier 1 falls in mid.
I mean, Noxide's always done fairly well against these better teams in the early game, but once it hits kind of that mid-game phase, once they find themselves at a little bit of luck, that's when they start to struggle. Speaking of struggle, Run is struggling to stay alive. 0-3 now as Richard Castle picks up a kill there in the mid lane.
Yes, and speaking of Run, I mentioned he might be either going to the Rose Hoodie or the other item I didn't get to mention, the Chronos Pendant, recently buffed. However, I feel like this is a very questionable decision to pick up early. It does give you 80 magical power, don't get me wrong, but it has absolutely no flat or percentage-based pen and doesn't really provide much else. Not to mention, it is one of the most expensive items in the game to be building into this early, especially since Run is so far behind. Can he really afford to be going into this item that early?
Yeah, it's a question he'll answer with the rest of his gameplay. I think the answer at the moment, though, is no. I suspect it might have been a misclick. He might have been going for the Doom Orb and then accidentally clicked Restored Artifact, or he might have decided, okay, Doom Orb's not going to work for me here because I'm dying too much. What can I go along the same path?
But I feel like if you're looking for an item like that, why not go the Dynasty Plate on? Why not go into something like, just even like an Obsidian Shard would be nice, possibly even, or even if you really need it, maybe even a Breastplate because you're that far behind. As Mingyu looking possibly to be died by just Speedy.
And A gets there, perhaps a little bit unnecessary, but he pops the Suns, but now Speedy gets turned off as Rose rotated in here. Richard Castle used the Sunder, but it was unnecessary. Airstrike comes through from Noose, but hits 0 targets there. Portal Demon was taken by Team Noxide, actually, in the middle of all that, so Noxide getting themselves a little bit of a win.
However, on the other side, though, as soon as they get a win, Kiki Amiro takes it straight away as he gets another kill on Otter. As this 2-2 tower is extremely low, and Cheetah, he's also rotated over to really finish off the job that Kiki Amiro started. Yeah,
under the tier 1 tower in mid. Noxide getting dove there by the Direwolves, but a good Kepper revive from Blaine Anderson will save Noose's life. And now, Direwolves don't really have much of a pressure this mid lane tower, forced to back off. They're going to go ahead and steal some buffs, back up, buy some items. We're looking at the grass now. We're going to see that Direwolves are ahead by roughly about 13,000 experience and nearly 10,000 gold. So this is pretty out of hand at this stage for Team Noxide. It'll be a big comeback if they can make up this deficit, but Direwolves, they still need to be very disciplined from here on out. They still need to take this game very seriously and keep applying pressure to Team Noxide.
And I think that's exactly what Direwolves will do. It's not that they're going to... I feel like they're just going to go even more aggressive. They've got even more of a lead now, especially the fact that Randa is so far behind. And that really is the key talking point for this game. 12 levels to 16 levels is not what you want to be seeing on your mid laner. And obviously, Randa might not have been playing mid for a while, but you don't want to be this far behind, especially against Ochita, who's on a soul. He's basically an ADC mage at this point.
He's 2,600 gold behind. I'm pretty sure that's a full Bancroft's talent. Actually, Bancroft's is like 2,300, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something around there. It's
basically Bancroft's and tier 1 boots behind is how far ahead Ochita is compared to Rhino. It might even be a Spear of Desolation. I think Spear of Desolation is 2,600 at the moment. Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, Spear of Desolation is a
overstated item.
I would not be surprised if we see that coming out on the Soul after this possible Roll to Hoodie as Noose.
Rampage!
Soloed. I mean, you're going to get soloed at some stage. He's always taking the 1v1 fights, usually winning them. Mid lane, Richard Castle getting a lot invested into him here. Pops the Terror's Blessing and is now A-OK. The rest of his team wasn't even there, but he just stood 1v3 and came out on top, basically. The rest of his team is over at the Gold Fury, except for Kiki Amiro, who's taking a fight with Osher over on the right-hand side. Gold Fury, though, starting to get low, and it is down. Direwolves take their second Gold Fury of the game. Osher forced to back away from Kiki Amiro, who now finds himself ahead of his opposite number after being down early.
Just Speedy diving into Richard Castle. Might getting a very nice fun, but Ochita, he could not care less what he was doing there as the Supernova finishes off. Just Speedy finished off also in the solo lane as Kiki Amiro. Actually, sorry, in the mid lane. Kiki Amiro actually catching off that lazy back.
Now the mid tier 1 tower is going to fall. Direwolves going to be pressing ahead here, looking for that tier 2 tower. Richard Castle's a little bit low, but he does have a lot of sustain as a terror. You can see he's popped that monolith down. Osher and Blaine Anderson trying to defend here, but probably going to cost them their lives. A crit came down onto Osher there. It looked like Typhoon coming through, hits Noose, but he beams away the knockup. Kiki Amiro diving under the tower there. He does have a Frenzy online as well, and he picks up Osher, but he's taking a lot of damage here. He just manages to get out of the Phoenix. There's a nice crit there coming through from Noose, but everyone on Direwolves is sustaining up through that Monolith. Kiki with his pulls as well, so the Phoenix is their next target. Ro blinks forward, looking for Rana Barana, but he's not going to find him. Speedy's coming through, trying to peel away the Direwolves from the Phoenix, but it's too little too late, and the Direwolves claim the first Firebird of the game.
Yeah, now Direwolves are the one that can easily just back off, start possibly warding around Fire Giant, even bait the Fire Giant. At this point, really, if Direwolves want to take it, Noxide can't really do too much to take it except for a lucky steal. However, Kiko, Mira, and Akita, they may have stayed just a little bit too long.
Yeah, Kiki taking a lot of damage. He's taking a lot of poke, and Noose picks up his first kill of the game onto Kiki Omeo. The rest of the Direwolves, though, they've taken advantage of their solo laner's misfortune and going to push down this tier 2 tower on the right-hand side. And guess what? The Fire Giant is still up. It hasn't been taken by the Direwolves yet. If this tower goes down, that's going to be their next target, and then look to end the game. Osha, though, gets a nice Eagles rally into 3 members. Ro gets a 3-man pull in, and Mingyu picks up Osha. It's now a 3-on-3 fight. Ro running away with the help of the Terra's Blessing, but it looks like the Direwolves want to re-engage. Noose with the air strike. Ro chasing down Rana Barana in the back line. Gonna dash through, looking for the kill. Rana, he dashes. Ro anticipates it though. Rana still gets the stun down. Ochita picks up Noose after coming back in. Ochita picks up Speedy for his second kill of this fight, and it looks like Direwolves might not even need the Fire Giant. They may look to press it for the end.
I don't think they're going to press it for the end, even though they do have the Terra healing. They do want it back. They want to get some items. Not to mention, they still haven't taken 2 other Phoenixes. It's only 1 Phoenix, and the Fire Wave wasn't going to come for a little bit longer. So instead, Direwolves making the smart decision, backing off, finishing up some items. They're going to go now possibly towards this Fire Giant, as Ochita is very much in the area, as Portal Demon is blinking away, just respawning in the nick of time.
Okay, so he's probably going to take Portal Demon in, and the rest of his team will get there just in time for Fire Giant. Ochita's got enough lifesteal, he's got the sustain on this one to be able to effectively solo this, although it'll get him pretty low. So he really does need the rest of his team here. And we see Mingyu, Richard Castle, and Ro all coming in now. Rana for Rana and Blaine Anderson are in the area. Final judgment popped by Rana, but just a little bit too late. I don't think he hit anyone there on the side of Direwolves.
I think that went into the wall, actually. Yeah, that kind of just faded into the wall, just a little shy of the Portal Demon. But hey, look, sometimes you hit some, you miss some, and this game's really been not the best for Rana, so it's understandable that he's a little bit on tilt.
Fire Giant started up now by the Direwolves. It's going to be Mingyu and Ochita. Sorry, starting that one up. It's already at 50% health. No final judgment really to steal this one away. Ro acting as the front line here, fading away all of Noxide. Ro taken very low here, but just Speedy's gone up in the air. He's hunting for the jungler and he picks him up, but Mingyu's already claimed the life of Noose on the right-hand side as well. Speedy forced it back, and the rest of Noxide are getting chased down by what remains of the Direwolves. Rana want to take so much damage from that Stellar Burst. Kiki Omeo chasing down. Kevri ultimate is popped, and a great revive there from Blaine Anderson, but Kiki Omeo is chasing down the Rana Barana. Osha already picked up by Mingyu, and Noxide falling like flies now with Direwolves pushing the right-hand side Phoenix.
There's really nothing Noxide can do. They just haven't been able to shut down this comp, and Direwolves have picked so cleverly that they have had the sustain and heal comp that if it didn't get shut down, there's literally no way to kill them. They just have too much sustain to keep them alive, and the only time they have been dying is when they've kind of gone a little bit too aggressive, and that's basically been, and that's mostly been actually on Kiki Omeo and Ro. Everyone else actually hasn't died once this game. And Kiki Omeo, even though he's died 4 times, 6 kills, 5 assists, he's just been everywhere this game, mostly just getting kills constantly onto Osha, keeping him behind. We saw him ahead earlier on, but currently 2-7-2.
Alright, 24 minutes of the game, 25-7 the score in favor of the Direwolves, and the graphs, well, I mean, we don't need to read off the numbers there, but they're all well in favor of the Direwolves. All 3 Phoenixes down, no Fire Giant available. Fire Giant buff still on the Direwolves for another 2.5 minutes. This is grim for Noxide, and Direwolves now, I mean, Fire Waves pushing down all 3 lanes. This is, you know, if there's ever a time to end a game, it's now.
Yeah, the thing is, the only Phoenix that is about to respawn is this middle Phoenix. Every other wave is pretty well pushed. Even the solo lane is around that tier 2 area. So all that Direwolves need to do, I should say, is just get their final buffs and push straight through. Even if Noxide try and fight under the time, the fact that Direwolves can just keep going and go straight for the time with both the Hui Suns, the Supernova, even the Typhoon and the Batter, they have so many different ways to just ensure that that time is falling no matter what.
Gold Fury falls down to the Direwolves. Middle Phoenix has respawned, but there's still 5 minions in that wave, so they're still going to have pressure on that side. And they've got actually no more 5 minions actually coming down the mid lane. No more waves of 5 minions, but this Middle Phoenix is very low, it's very vulnerable, and it's short of fall. There's a Supernova out of Ochita, doesn't land on anyone, but just keeps The Starter knocks that away. Frenzy is top now. Ro goes in, looking straight for the Phoenix. Osha doing a lot of damage. And Mingyu actually picked up there with a final judgment along with Osha. So Noxide actually getting a good fight here. They're up 5v4. Mid Phoenix falls down. Osha in a lot of trouble here. And he's picked up by Kiki Omio. Not an effective fight from that spot, but they have picked up the Hoagie. So that's a benefit. Good Kefir revive there onto just Speedy, but he's sure to fall down to the bat out of hell. Kiki's got himself a double kill. Ochita picks up one now as well. And despite a valiant last stand, as Kiki picks up a triple kill, this looks like it's going to be game for the Dial.
And Ro actually, just to make sure we really get that DSI, Ro gets a kill onto Brana, just hanging just a little bit out of Fountain. 8-30 reads the score, and Dire will have an almost perfect game there, and there was nothing Noxai could do. They were outclassed since about minute 2, really.
Great contributions all around from everyone on the side of Direwolves. You know, I'm just looking at some of the player damage here. 18k for Mingyu, 19k for Ro, 19k for Ochita, 21k from Kiki Omiro. So everyone very important and effective in terms of the damage dealers for the Direwolves. Everyone really playing their part well, despite being getting a lot of pressure over on that right-hand side early. Dire will still manage to pull out the victory. So that's going to do it for game number 1 between the Direwolves and Team Noxide. We're going to go to a short break and we'll be back with game number 2. We are back, guys. Thank you for sticking with us through those technical delays. Straight into the picks and bans of game number 2 now between the Direwolves and Team Noxide. Direwolves took out game number 1 in pretty domineering fashion, Link's clone. Can Noxide bounce back in game number 2?
If it was any other side, I would most likely say yes, but Noxide, especially to the fact the amount of roster shuffles, the amount of team role mix-ups, and the fact that they're dealing with a very inexperienced team that hasn't played much together, I'm doubtful that Noxide can pull something, but if they are going to pull a miracle, it will be this game, because currently they didn't really show up many strats just because they were beaten so quickly, so they can work with they have a lot of room to work with, while Direwolves, they're much more scrutinized.
Direwolves going to ban away the Terra and Circuit Raven, taken away by Noxide as well as the Fafnir. So this opens up the Osiris for Direwolves to play here with the first pick if they so choose. Maybe the Soul potentially is the first pick, but they're going to go ahead and take the Osiris.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with picking an Osiris, such a dominating force in the solo lane, and while Kikimiri had a bit of a rough time earlier on in the solo lane, he was still able to do an amazing job in that mid game, and Osiris, I feel like, can have even more of a strong presence compared to a Camazot, just due to the beefiness thanks to his damage mitigation in his passive and his 3.
Bologna and Khepri locked in here for Team Noxide. So two of their same early picks from the last game. You know, the Khepri did well, and the Bologna. They were two of the more successful picks for Noxide in the last game, so I'm not surprised to see them repeated here. Sobek and Hou-Yi punched in very quickly for the Direwolves in return. Sobek, a god we haven't seen much of as late. I guess other supports have just been valued more highly over him, but we're now seeing him played here, and Ra locked in for Noxide.
I really like the Ra pickup, especially for Rhino Barana. If you can't, because it seemed like he was a bit struggling on the third, he couldn't seem to land anything mechanically. Just take it back to basics. Play one of the most simple gods in the game, Ra. You have about 2 jobs. Heal your team and hits your ultimates. And due to the fact you have Bologna Stun and Khepri Abduct, it is that little bit easier hitter. Not to mention, if Sobek charges in and just completely whiffs, it allows Noxide to just completely come back around and easily hit that Searing Pain.
Alright, Toth and Kernanos banned out by Team Noxide. Ratatoska by the Direwolves. Speedy actually did reasonably well in this Ratatoska last game as well. Poseidon banned out now by the Direwolves. I'm not sure why they're banning that Poseidon.
Look, Poseidon solo. I mean, it's all the rage. Or Poseidon jungle.
Poseidon
all the rage.
jungle. Poseidon ADC. I think that might have been a little bit of a brain fart there from the Direwolves. Erlang Shen locked in here for Noxide. So it's either Bologna jungle or Erlang Shen jungle.
If I had to take my guess, I would rather have a Bologna versus Osiris just due to the fact that cleaving auto attacks, even though Erlang Shen does have cleaving auto attacks very similar to Bologna has every single auto attack as a cleaving auto attack. Not to mention, with recent buffs to Erlang Shen due to his base attack time as well as bits of base damage, I believe, it means he can possibly do a bit more in the jungle early on by maxing that exposed weakness to level 1 and have fairly solid clear. And speaking of solid clear, Fenrir coming to the table.
Fenrir on the board for the Direwolves. Soul as well. Fenrir and Soul, very strong combination. You know, you get that Ragnarok off and you just hold a target in place while Soul hits them with the Stellar Burst and the Supernova combination. Ram, picked up from Noxide. Ram actually got decent level 1 clear due to the fact that he usually has all 5 of his Astral Arrows ready to go on that first wave. Plus, I think it's something that Noose can be a little bit safer on compared. I mean, I guess not. I guess since he played the Jing Wei, but maybe something he could do a little bit more damage with from a distance compared to the Jing Wei. But now we're going to go ahead and head into game with the picks and bans done. Pretty standard as from what we'd expect from these teams. It is going to be that Erlang Shen jungle.
Yes, and it also, we can see that actually that the Khepri is making his way over to the mid lane like last game, and I feel like Blaine Anderson kind of needs to be in that duo lane because Sobek is one of the most aggressive supports in the game, and since Richard Castle and Mingo are doing that same strat as last game, looking to get a very early level 2, I'm expecting Noose to get plucked at some point in the laning phase and possibly first blooded.
Right hand side, we're seeing both teams put their jungle and solo laner over here on this right hand side. Erlang Shen, Bologna up against the Fenrir and Osiris alone. Who are you expecting to win this clear battle?
It depends what Roy has maxed. It actually looks like he has maxed the Unchained, so if he can get a nice couple stacks onto the passive and then land with a nice stun, he can actually do quite a bit of damage, not to mention they're already Sunders up and ready to go. However, Roy takes quite a lot of damage from both auto attacks.
Iki doing some return damage though onto Speedy and Osha. It looks like it's going to be Noxo winning this clear battle thus far, but going very, very safe. They're not going to join Blaine Anderson and Rana Barana on this speed up invade, but they don't need to because Rana and Blaine Anderson have already taken it, and they're going to efficiently instead take away these fire elementals. They're not going to look for the right-hand side mid-halfies. They're going to clear the wave and then possibly go for those, but good start here from Noxside.
Direwolves on the other side, however, already stealing away the red buff away from Rana Barana, and I feel like we're getting a repeat of last game as Noose gets plucked in.
It's plucked in, taking a lot of damage here early, but he is going to be able to roll away and keep himself alive for now. But a lot of aggression in this duo lane. It is the Direwolves. That is what we have come to expect from them.
I feel like I'm just getting a real sense of deja vu, especially like the fact that the mid lane are invading the jungle, the fact that they're sacrificing Noose to get Rana ahead, but I feel like, especially with Ram, someone who's quite the hyper carry who needs a bit of time to come online, they seem to be sacrificing a lot of Noose and putting a lot of pressure onto Rana to be their real carry this game.
Come on and hit me!
You know, maybe that's because Rana's a little bit more used to the mid-roll than Noose is to the ADC. Given that Rana has played mid in a competitive environment before, and whereas Noose's ADC experience is a little bit more limited. Ro plucked it in there in the mid lane, but Ochida's going to get some poke damage down on Rana. Going to heal himself back up. Ro and Ochida taken low, but Osha, in combination with Speedy, going to get the first blood onto Kikyo similar to what we saw last game, with a lot of pressure over in the solo side from Noxside onto Kikyo.
Yes, and Richard Castle trying to descending his last game as well, where they rotated over to the mid lane. However, Richard Castle plucking only a measly minion, no luck getting either Runner or Blaine Anderson. And I feel like though, at least Kikyo has that saving grace. He does have that Chalice of Healing, and he is playing with Cyrus compared to a Camadot. He can hold his own in lane, even though he is level behind. He is not going to be too worried. And I feel like if they keep putting this pressure on the other side, again, they're just going to let Ochida and Mingyu get ahead, which is what we saw last game. Even when Kikyo gets put behind, he's not a person to give up, as we've seen. He just constantly just keeps fighting and fighting until eventually he gets away and starts to lead the solo down.
Left-hand side, Moose hits level 5, as Mickey hits level 5 as well. Oracle Harpies taken by Team Noxside, actually. So Noxside getting a lot of early clear and early pressure. They're actually up 1,000 in the experience and gold charts. Not a whole lot, but still a lead nonetheless against Direwolves. Mingyu caught out here by the Erlang Shen and by the Ram. Just Speedy's not level 5 yet, so he doesn't have to come with the beat. The first still by Mingyu. Up goes Zeus with the snipe, looking for Mingyu. Hits the first one, doesn't hit the second one, third one. All important, he does hit it. And Mingyu falls down to the snipes from Noose.
And that's exactly what you want to be seeing for Noose. That single kill is going to propel him right into that mid game. As we can already see in the NetWeb charts, he's currently second, obviously behind the Bologna, who was able to get the first blood. So now, Noxside, not only have they been able to get the timers for speed buff, they've also got the timers for the Oracle Harpies, and well, they've now actually started to get the damage from the lane of the Rory, getting pulled down in the mid lane as well.
Oh, just barely manages to brutalize away from that snipe from Rana. Speedy still hasn't used his taunt yet. He's just hit level 5, so he's just got that ultimate ability online. Kikyo on the right-hand side is soloed there by Osha, who's taking full advantage now of being 2-0 up against his opponent as he gets that solo killer. Now, not only is he 2-0 up in terms of kills, he's 2-0 up in terms of levels.
Yes, and he's gone into the Ninja Taba, really wanting to get both the attack speed as well as the mana advantage. And now Noxside invading the speed buff yet again, straight off the timer, as well as actually looking at the blue this time, as Rory and Richard Castle are really far though the tier 1 in mid, and Richard Castle, wait, why am I getting this wrong? Kikyo I should say, not able to make it there even remotely in the nick of time, so Osha going to have a nice blue buff around his belt, while Kikyo is now beltless.
He's suffering from that lack of mana. Osha, not really a known player within the OCE competitive scene, or at least at the Pro League level, but he has been around the Challengers Cup for a fair while, getting himself a shot now here in the Pro League and making the most of it, which is really all you can ask, especially when you're on the bottom place team like Noxside, haven't won a game yet. Maybe this is the one they do and they get the upset victory. I'm not, not counting any chickens before they hatch, but making the most of his opportunity here in the OPL, showing off his stuff, and I think that's really what these Noxside players are aiming to do, is to show off their stuff in this game, in this split.
Yeah, and I think it's been a really nice job by both Osha and Just Speedy. We can't just give credit to Osha alone, because if it wasn't for Just Speedy constantly applying pressure that early, Kikyo and Miri wouldn't be alone. But Osha, especially now that he has got that advantage, some players, once they get that advantage in the solo lane, they just don't understand the mechanics of the matchup and they just lose out. But Osha holding his own, making sure he can stand up to Kikyo and Miri and keep the lead up, as Rana possibly looking for something, maybe a sniper, as Kikyo and Miri is just kind of sitting behind the wave.
Yeah, they're looking for some CC to get down on this Osiris. While his passive negates a lot of physical damage, it doesn't do a thing against magical damage, so still very vulnerable to Rana. He doesn't have a Mark of the Vanguard online, only that Death Toll and those attack speed boots. But Osher looks like he wants to fight here, and he might have the advantage. Bludgeon comes out, Kiki taking a lot of damage, can't heal it all up with the challenge. Death Toll, but he is going to be regenerating his health over by the Gold Fury. Noxide actually take it. They steal it away there from the Direwolves, basically. I think Noose got that with a snipe.
Yeah, Noose with the snipe able to finish off the job. Direwolves possibly supernova by Cheetah Ryan Tolman, but it takes a while and it's not exactly doing that much damage with only a shoot the Magi. And Noxide, they're looking to invade after Direwolves greedily try to take away the red buff, and Roe may be in the line of sight.
Going to be alright for now, but if he keeps going this aggressively, no, he's going to go back around the safe way behind his tower. The smart option there. Ochita actually gets hit by the Celestial Beam from Rana Brana. Not going to mind that one too much though, but Noxide fully applying the pressure to the Direwolves. 2,700 up in experience, 2,700 up in gold. Speedy, Glenn Anderson, and Rana Brana diving this tier 1 tower. Speedy shuts back towards Ochita. Bro jumps in very aggressively. The snipe for Rana though catches the soul out, and he picks up the kill onto Ochita. Bro though finally puts the kill on the board for the Direwolves as he picks up just Speedy.
However, Noxide then going to push straight into this tower, the teleport coming up from Kiki, but they're going to be just oh no, he's not going to be able to make this in the nick of time, but the tower already disappears, and now Noxide are looking to go even further with this Ra and Bologna combo, forcing Kiki to use that Lord of the Afterlife.
Forcing him to get away from all the damage there. Noose is a level ahead of Mingyu. Mid lane, Rana Brana is a level ahead of Ochita. Just Speedy a level ahead of Ro, and in the solo lane, Osher's 2 levels ahead of Kiki Omir. So Noxide taking full advantage of this early pressure they have, of this early advantage, and starting to build up a lead against the LG Direwolves.
And what Noxide they need to do, they need to keep applying this pressure. They don't want to pump the brakes just yet. There is no reason to. They need to keep looking for these invades, look for these towers, and really pressure our Direwolves, play their game, but do it better than, especially the fact that this game, they're the ones with a lot of healing, especially coming from this Ra. And I currently don't see LG Direwolves building up any sort of anti-healing for a while. Usually the Brawler's Beast is the 3rd item, Pestilence usually see around 4th or 5th, but they're going to have to go out of their way to really build any sort of anti-healing against the side of Noxide, as well as the Erling Shentorn as well, providing a lot of healing.
It is something, though, that Direwolves are going to have to look to invest in. I mean, Mingyu could possibly pick it up with a Brawler's Beat Stick. Kiki Omir has some anti-healing with the Lord of the Afterlife, but you know, there's a couple of different options for them here to negate some of this healing, but it is starting to become a problem that they need to deal with.
However, Direwolves, they're not going to care too much. They're just going to go and invade red buff, because Direwolves, even when they're behind, they're still going to go for the aggressive as a nice snipe. Takes a tiny bit of Richard Castle's health.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what you need to do. You can't just sit back on your heels and allow the team that's ahead to continue to dictate the pace of the game. You need to make some plays. You need to be proactive rather than just reactive, as Ro picks up a kill onto just Speedy over by the Noxide Speedbot. But now Ro looking to invade this one. Blaine Anderson and Rana Brana coming through as well. Ochita's here. Ro jumps in aggressively and gets stunned down into Rana, forces the beat down, and the Kemper ultimate. Ro chasing him down with the Ragnarok, picks up Rana Brana. They're waiting for the Kemper heal, and they time it to perfection as Ro picks up Rana Brana just as the Kemper revive runs out.
And Osher actually just really can only stand and watch as Direwolves actually able to get back some of the buffs they actually lost on the other side of the map. Ro currently 3-0-0, the real carry currently on the team, as well as the fact that he's joined with Kiki Omir and Mingyu at max level. He's actually opted into the Brace of Undoing it, a relic we don't often see, but can go quite nicely with Fenrir, who's someone who's usually diving the backline and is forced into that ultimate form for quite a while, not really able to heal too much, even though he does have the lifesteal on his 2.
Oracle Harpies split there between Mingyu and Noose, so no one getting the vision advantage there. Looking at the Grass Direwolves in one fell swoop, basically equalize the experience different. Gold still in favor of Noxide, however, but Noxide really didn't keep up the pace, didn't ward their own side of the map effectively, and allowed Direwolves that gateway back into this one.
Well, just having a look at the map now, we can see most of the dual lane side. We got a Sentry Ward right by the actually, sorry, those are Noxide wards. I'm completely misreading the map. However, on the solo side, that's where all the aggressive wards for Direwolves are, by the blue and behind the speed wall. And even though Noxide, they have the 4 pillars of mid lane warded up nicely, the rest of the map is still fairly open, and Direwolves are still trying to find that little bit of advantage to come back into this game. And Portal Demon is already online and ready to be taken.
Ro getting chased down by Speedy and Osher. He's now enjoying a 2-level advantage in the jungle. Kiki's starting to equalize the experience towards the solo lane as well, but Noxide going to go ahead and start this one. A look to bait in a fight. Osher trying to zone away Richard Castle and Ochita, but he's not taking up just yet to be able to do it. As Kiki Omir is diving the backline of Noxide. Osher jumps in with the Eagles rally, but misses his target. He's picked up and dragged away by Ro with the Fenrir. And Ochita picks him up with a supernova as well. Portal Demon has been started up as Richard Castle is doing a lot of damage at the backline. Rana taking a hell of a lot of poke there, but Noxide, they still want to look for this Portal Demon.
They need to be careful. We do have Ming, who's now actually rotated all the way over from the duo lane, ready for the fight. He has the ultimate, he drops it on the lane.
Portal Demon getting hit by those stuns, doing something to discover the snipe, looking to get it, but Dival's managed to secure that Portal Demon thanks to the ticks coming through from those stuns from Mingyu. Noxide can't really chase down the Divals after either. Row with the speed buff should be able to get away, no mana, but no snipes from Noose to be able to pick him up.
However, Kikyomi, he must go back in against Just Speedy, and it looks like that's going to cost him his life as Just Speedy punishes the great heavily. Mingyu also staying around possibly a little bit too long, but a nice double ricochet onto Blaine Anderson evens the trade just a bit.
Very, very greedy play there from Kikyomi, as you said, and paid for with his life. 0-3 currently as with Osiris. Really not the kind of play we come to expect out of Kikyomi in this latest competitive season. Speedy though, and the rest of Noxide suffering from the Direwolf's same syndrome, staying overlocked after they push too hard. They're trying to take the tower, but it's going to cost them their lives as Blaine Anderson and Speedy fall down. Rowe chasing after Noose, but Noose manages to dash away. Here's Ochita with a supernova, a lot of damage, and Rowe finishes him off by jumping on top. And now it looks like it's going to be Direwolf's turn to apply the pressure on this right-hand side.
Kikyomi already back up and ready to steal away the speed buff. Is actually now diving onto Rana with a nice rip from the Lord of the Afterlife. The heals not doing anything for Rana, and he's forced to back away with about a sliver of health. On the other side, we do see Osha pushing into tier 1, but it's not going to be that same speed that you'll see from a Soul.
Yeah, he's going to be doing his best to pick up this tower, do what damage he can, but basically with only attack speed boots online as his only source of damage, as well as a death toll that provides a 10 power. He's got 30 power, basically, total. Really not going to be doing a whole lot to that objective. And Kikyomi TP's over to stop the minions from even doing any more damage. Might be able to get these Oracle Harpies, which would be a nice little win for the side of Noxide. But really now, Direwolves have put themselves comfortably in the driver's seat with a 4,000 experience advantage.
And I think it's mostly been the Fenrir. Roy's been doing an absolutely exceptional job on this Fenrir. Whenever he gets that ultimate, he's always catching people, dragging them nice and deep back into Direwolf's backline. As Kikyomi got caught a little bit too far out of position as 4 members collapse upon him.
He's in a lot of trouble here. He's just juking his little heart out. It's not going to do him any good though, as Osha picks up his 3rd kill of the game and puts Kiki's 4th death on the board. Gold Fury. Direwolves were thinking about it, but they don't have the damage online to do it quickly yet. And now, Noxide, they're going to apply some pressure over here on this left-hand side.
Yes, getting any sort of towers in the dual lane is just worth that little bit more competitive solo. So, because once you start going for fire giant, you want to be able to push over the dual lane, over the Mingyu, sacrificing his use of the Suns to actually push up the wave and really get the pressure back as Richard Castle also rotating over as Ochita gets a kill on the Rana, 2 seconds, just Speedy also getting caught in the Ragnarok.
He manages to get the taunt up and get his heal back, but so much damage coming through from Ochita's soul, it's not going to be enough. Osha sunders Row there, he's trying to chase down the Fenrir, but Ochita says, not so fast, son. You're not going to take my jungler's life. Richard Castle diving through the lines of Team Noxide as well, manages to get away. So a nice little pick up there from Ochita, and that was a great call by Mingyu to use his Suns to deny Noxide the opportunity to push that wave, and so Noxide, they commit a lot to the left-hand side and lose out in the mid lane.
And now they've got even more kills into their own. Currently, Bro's actually building into the heart of the ocean, going for a very bruisery type build, which is kind of what you want to see on Fenrir, because usually around the late game, he becomes a bit more of an ult bot, going and using the Ragnarok, and he needs those protections to really be able to tank. And Direwolves, they have no shortages of kills coming in the mid game, as Osho is probably going to be Bro's next victim.
So it's going to be Kiki the one picking up the kill, finally claiming some kind of vengeance for the way he's been handled over here in the solo lane. Now Direwolves starting to pick up more of an experience in gold lead, 6,000 experience ahead, 1,100 gold. Mid-tier 1 tower is going to be their next target probably, given the low amount of health he's on.
Noxide currently though just de-warding around the gold field, but Direwolves, they do spot them out around that area, just kind of zoning them away as Ro is running straight to the tower, and he's going to be the one actually auto-attacking, just waiting for Ochita to finish off the job. And now Noxide, they don't really have an answer, and currently also it seems like that they're trying to go on Richard, but again Richard, he's already got a sovereignty, he's got Hardwater, and he's got a Vanguard. There's no way you can be killing Ro right now. Sorry, Richard Castle right now, I should say.
Yeah, he doesn't have the full sovereignty online, but he's building towards it. The mouth of the Vanguard and the tank boots are the important part of his build there. Just going to keep himself alive. So jumping in there onto Noose quite aggressively. Osh is hanging around the backside here. If he can get a good Eagles rally off here, this completely disrupts what the Dialers are trying to do. There's no wards on this side for the Dialers either, so they don't know where he is, and they got to know that Osh is going to be looking to try and dive this backline. Mingyu forced to jump away, and now it's Noxide's turn to start up this Gold Fury.
They do need to be careful, Direballs. If they try to initiate a little bit too fast, they may get quite a Richard Castle though. Watch the other direction. Noxide still going through the series game, however. Noxide takes a lot of damage.
They're looking, Dai was looking to punish Noxide here. Osha picks up a kill onto Mingyu, but Blaine Anderson's dead as well. Speedy's going to be the next one to fall. As Osha actually picks up Ro. Osha's trying to put this team on his back as Ochita picks up Speedy. Noose being chased away by Kiki and Mio. Osha's going to keep trying to fight here in the back line, but he can't get through to the damage dealers. Kiki and Mio trying to find Noose. Ochita's the one, though, to pick up the ADC from Noxide, and it's only Osha left for Team Noxide.
Osha, the real beacon of hope, the only one who's currently actually ahead in levels on the rest of the team. Currently, just comparing the levels, you got level 15 on Rogue compared to Speedy's 12, you got Ochita's 15 to Rana's 12, even Richard Castle a level ahead, and even Mingyu actually now getting also one level ahead as well. So Noxide, their XP lead is falling to the wayside, even though they may be ahead in Osha, even the gold lead now is actually, even thanks to that gold fury, it's just kind of stopped it a little bit from growing. But it's 7,000, actually 8,000 XP, as well as 1,800 gold, which is not the nicest position to be in when you're that far down behind in XP.
Yeah, Speedy's in a rough spot at the moment. Rana has got the Spirit of Desolation online now, though, so he's actually been doing a decent amount of damage in this game, a lot more than last game. He's currently sitting 4th on the charts, which is pretty impressive for a Ra, given the difficulty of a lot of your abilities to hit without proper setup. So props to Rana for improving in the second game. Portal Demon started up now by Noxide. Richard Castle lurking in the waters, looking to steal this one away. It's a close thing, but Rana secures it with a knife. And that's going to deny that to the Direwolves. Direwolves now, they can't even get in and make Noxide pay with any kills, as Noxide wisely back away after taking that objective.
Direwolves, they're going to have to be very careful now around the Spy Zone. Currently, all the ward vision really does belong to Noxide. They've got the ward running on that portal demon, just kind of sitting there, ready to go. And they're also looking to push up this Soldier lane to the tier 1, both with Osha and just Speedy ready to take it. And also, as we can notice, that actually Osha has opted into the Sundering Spear. He's actually got the upgraded Sundering Spear already online. So that just means even more damage for when he decides to be the next initiation point.
Noxide putting up a much stronger fight in this game compared to the last one. So definitely some bright spots for this team to kind of go ahead and learn the game. And you know, I think there's potential for this roster yet, as we're seeing a fight break out around the tier 2 mid tower. Rana picks up one, Kiki picks up just Speedy, so a 1-for-1 trade thus far. Osha trying to dive Mingyu here, but he doesn't have the lead that he wants to enjoy, so he can't go very aggressive here. Still level 16 highest in his team, 5-2-0 the solo lane for Noxide.
And now they see Kiki all by himself, 4 members trying to find something as a nice brew comes out, but the Lord of the Afterlife just easily been enough to get away. Richard Castle sacrificing himself. He
gets, there is a snipe coming out from Boost as well. They pick him up along with the Eagles rally from Osha. Osha, though, might pay for his life with this one, but a great temporary revive there from Blaine Anderson. Keeps himself alive. And Noxide, recognizing they can't push down this right-hand side tower, back away. So Noxide, their calls at the moment are very, very disciplined. They're playing around the lead that Direwolves have. They're a 4-on-3 situation, so they're looking to take advantage of it as they can, along with the Raft heals. Try and push down this tower now, but do it in a safe manner. Osha gets stunned out there by Mingyu. Road jumping in, trying to find a target. Not going to be able to find a great one. Ochita's doing his best to come back in, but Osha's already picked up Mingyu.
And now they go straight for the tier 1. The heals just keeping them just slightly even more tanky as they now look for the tier 2. Currently, however, they do need to be careful. 4 members of Direwolves are now back up again. Kiki and Mira sitting around 75% health. Same with Ro as well. So Noxide, if they want to drive this, they need to go in.
Ro jumps in. There's the Ragnarok ultimate. Managed to pick up Osha, but Ro's taking a lot of damage. Managed to get a heal off there, I believe, with a meditation. Kiki's going to pick up Osha in the meantime, though, and Ro barely gets out alive. Plucked in is Kiki by Blaine Anderson, but Ochita's doing his best to heal. Kiki dives in onto just Speedy. Blaine Anderson taking a lot of damage, but somehow the bug manages to get out alive. Ochita and Kiki, though, they still want to chase this one down and try and find the kill. Stellar Burst from Ochita is enough to pick up Blaine Anderson.
And now they're just going to keep going on the chase. Direwolves looking at Noose and Rana, both very like just speedy. Throwing out the pick to the sacrificial line with a nice taunt as Rana still dishing out a lot of damage. But Ochita able to find Noose and disapparate away. The Sunder, though.
The Sunder kill. That's great to see. Speedy's going to sacrifice himself for it, though. But Noxide pretty much lose out very heavily on that one, losing 4 members. They succumb to the OCE syndrome, sticking around too long. No Portal Demon for the Direwolves to take, and the Fire Giant's probably a little bit out of reach at this point. It looks like Gold Fury is going to be Mingyu's objective here, at the very least the Oracle Harpies. No, he's going straight for the Gold Fury here, which I think is a good call with Roe Richard Castle coming along in tow.
He's got the Suns, and now he also has Broken backing up, and Broken can easily help hang him up. Or Richard Castle, both of them quite tanky at this point, actually, with, we actually see the Fenrir going into the Shifted Shield as his 4th item. A nice pickup for a Fenrir. It's just supplementing that real bruisery build. You see, both Jungers are actually going for quite a bruisery build this game. As we can even look at just Speedy, he's also going to shift his shield, 2nd item, and looking to build him could possibly either a Spirit Robe or Mantle of Discord nice and early on.
I mean, that's kind of how you have to play an Erlang Shen jungle. That's what your objective is you're a bruiser, you're looking to be another frontline for your team, but still deal out some damage. Ro, though, doing it a little bit more effective this game, 7-1 and 9 on the Fenrir, really contributing very, very nicely for his team.
Yeah, he's just been playing the Fenrir very smart. He's been knowing exactly when to go, and he hasn't. I really haven't seen him over-aggress too heavily on this. Instead, allowing both either Kiki Mio or Richard Castle to be the ones to be the aggressive, and then him to back them up with that Ragnarok or with the Brutals to chase them down. As we see Noose on the other side of the map, however, taking the tier 1 over in the duo lane, but that could leave them open to a Direwolves assault on the solo lane.
Yeah, Kiki Mio's going in there, trying to pick up the 1v2 kill against Speedy and Osha. Speedy uses that turtle form dash and wave in the mid lane. Ro chases down Rana and kills the bird. Now Direwolves are all rotating over to the right-hand side. Kiki and Richard have bought enough time here for the Direwolves to go ahead now and look for this Portal Demon.
Yes, and they can easily do it as well, but the fact that it's no longer a Ra Snipe is just threatening them to steal it away. TGMA also doing a beautiful job with Richard Castle, zoning away the 3 members. Direwolves easily secure it, and now they're looking to go straight to the fight.
Ro picks up Blaine Anderson. Roman evicted there from Osha, doesn't manage to pick up the kill onto Richard Castle. Noose, though, will pick up the Sobek with a Ram Snipe. Ro's got himself a double kill here. Speedy trying to chase after, but now trying to escape. Mingyu, though, is going to go ahead and pick him up, and Noose now all alone. The other one left on his team alive rolls forward, but Kiki Mio still has him in the Judgment Tethers. There's the beats and the Aegis from Noose, but it's not going to matter. Kiki picks up Noose. The Portal Demon's down, and now the Direwolves going to start up the Fire Giant.
And now the fact that they're all people here are level 18 or even 19 in the case of Kiki Mio, with him tanking in his tanky form himself, there is no trouble whatsoever. Direwolves easily secure themselves the Fire Giant, the Portal Demon. They can come on through, and now start that Phoenix Assault that we love so much.
Yeah, 3 tier 2 towers left, but that's going to make not going to make much of a difference to the Direwolves. With a Fire Giant stack team, with Mingyu starting to come online, Ochita as well, with the Rod of Tahuti. These towers aren't going to last very long. Oh, Rana pushing up away. Didn't expect the Direwolves to come through this path, but he forgot they had the Portal Demon. This is their natural path of choice. Tier 2 tower is going to melt before the eyes of the Direwolves. Now they're going to look for the right-hand side Phoenix.
Yes, Osha and Just Speedy kind of hanging around there. However, Just Speedy is still only level 14. He is being starved of a lot of farm in this late game. Also for a very expensive Mantle of Discord as Roy picks up Blaine Anderson.
Yeah, trying to pick up the Kemri, so he's forced to waste the revive, but he's going to be able to get on through. Osha gets a nice Eagles rally here. Kiki's still diving in the backline, looking for Blaine Anderson. Ro jumps in. Stellar Burst coming through. Mochita's going to jump down. Just Speedy the Sun for Mingyu to pick up Speedy. Up in the sky goes Kemri's blessing is on him. Garrison, I should say. Blaine Anderson low, but manages to get into the fountain. Right-hand side Phoenix does fall down to the Direwolves.
And now Direwolves, they're going to back up a bit, go for this tier 2 in the mid lane, and then go for the next Phoenix after that. Rana has returned, however, he's not going to be doing too much as Direwolves, they're basically involved except for Richard, and the rest of them are just going to melt the tier 2 once again. Soul is a very terrifying being in the late game once she actually gets a tower even remotely in her side.
Rana hits Richard Castle there with a Celestial Beam. He's not going to worry too much about that being a very tanky Sobek. Does have some of his own healing in his kit. Kiki diving the tower, Ro as well. Their objective though is to take this one down. Osha trying to make him pay for it any way he can, but nothing really for him to do here. Noxide forced a retreat for this Direwolves onslaught as they take the tier 2 tower on the left-hand side. No towers left for Noxide, only 2 Phoenixes remaining.
And that will not be much longer. Direwolves backing up to spend that final bit of gold in hand that they have currently, especially the Osiris, 2,200. He can easily finish up either a Bulwark or even a further second Pestilence, as we already see Richard Castle has a Pestilence to do with the insane amount of healing coming out from Noxide. But Direwolves, they made it so far into the game, they have so much burst, and they've been doing such a good job of keeping all the members away from each other, spacing them out, that Rada's healing has just fallen off and not become very effective whatsoever.
Looking at the graphs now, 17,000 experience for the Direwolves, 10,000 gold in the lead. Noxide had this game in their sights early on, but they've really let it slip through their grasp, slip through their fingers. Now Direwolves on the hunt. A minute left on this 5-9 basically. 5 minutes pushing up the right-hand side, although Speedy's done a nice job of pushing those back down towards Direwolves' own towers. But Direwolves aren't going to be worried too much about that. They're just going to be looking for these other Phoenixes.
Yeah, so Cheetah doing a nice job pushing up the dual lane while the rest of the team was pushing up the mid lane, and now both Phoenixes are ready to be attacked. Blaine Anderson defending the dual lane Phoenix, while the rest of the members of Noxide slowly making their way over to the dual lane side of the Speedy, trying to find something hot in the back lane as Kikyo Mio tanking like an absolute beast.
Rogue picks up Speedy in the Fenrir. Old Thunder comes through. Great Rover eviction. Stuns out 4 people. Speedy still somehow alive here. Kiki diving in with the Lord of the Afterlife, but he's losing a lot of health as Osher finally falls down. Blaine Anderson down as well. Loose up with the snipes. He's going to be looking for Rover. Rogue jumps over one of the snipes. The third one doesn't land. The sun's raining down from Mingyu. Left-hand side Phoenix has fallen. Ochita pushing forward, trying to find Noose, but he's not going to get him. Speedy with the Turtle Fall managed to get away into his own fountain. The good Celestial Beam from Rana will chunk down Mingyu. Direwolves, they were thinking about the middle Phoenix, but now they're looking like they're going for the end. Just Speedy flung back there by Richard Castle, who's taking a lot of damage. Noose really picks up with a basic. Mingyu's going to find just Speedy in the meantime. Mingyu diving in, they find Rana. It's just Noose left to defend this Titan. And there's not enough that a Ram can do, as Direwolves are going to go ahead in a much closer game than the first and take game number 2.
I'll give absolute props to Noxide. They drafted a lot better in this game, really picking around the Khepri. I felt like last game, the Khepri just didn't have much of an impact. In this game, the Khepri was actually able to get off a lot of the revives. And Rana as well, really helping out nicely in the early game to pair nicely with Speedy as well as Osher. However, as the game went later, Noxide, they just kind of let off the gas pedal just a bit. And as soon as that happened, Roe just came slamming in like a sledgehammer and just broke apart the roster of Noxide.
Yeah, Direwolves, they were unstoppable there towards the end, and they go ahead and pick up the necessary 2-0 for them to get themselves that much close to the SMITE OPL mid-year finals. But that's going to do it for our first set. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with Legacy versus Kanga.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kanga Esports versus Legacy for the SMITE OPL. You're hearing Woofin along with Smackamoose. How are you going, Smacker?
Doing well today. How are you, Wolfen?
I'm doing great. I'm just here ready to watch some Kanga Esports versus Legacy here. Legacy definitely considered the better team out of the two, but Kanga is definitely going to put up a fight. So let's jump right into picks and bans here.
Yeah, Kanga Esports had some strong showing so far in the first few weeks of the OPL, so hopefully they can put up a good fight here against Legacy. I think we'll have a good set here as Terra's banned away here by Kanga first.
Yeah, I mean, Terra hasn't been seeing as much play recently, but she's still a very powerful support. And if Kanga Esports don't feel comfortable against it, then I can see the ban being worthwhile. But seeing the Circuit and Susanoo here, both incredibly strong junglers, so very normal bans coming out there.
Yeah, despite the nerf to Susano, he still brings a lot to a team and still does a lot of damage. So, can understand the first ban there as Ravana's taken away from Legacy there as well, and Fafnir locked in as first pick for Kanga. So, some top picks there. Don't blame them for prioritizing this Fafnir. He's been very strong in recent weeks of play.
As we see the Osiris Bologna pick here, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for first picking Fafnir. He's so incredibly good with that gold scaling protection early game, and then it's just amazing CC and ultimate late game. But I do actually want to point out that this Osiris Bologna double pickup here by Legacy is actually a very nice combination because you both take two really powerful solo laners and two very powerful junglers as well. So it's kind of, counter picking Kanga in a way because you're taking away potential solo laners and also getting really strong grods for yourself. So Legacy doing a very smart pick here as we see Vulcan and Hu Yi, two more very strong gods.
Yeah, Vulcan's got that good poke and juking and that kind of thing that he can do for himself, as well as a lot of damage. Speaking of a lot of damage, that's an Ares locked in for Legacy in the support role, most likely.
Yeah, I like this Ares pick along with the Osiris and Bologna because they're both quite strong. So they'll have a strong tanky presence both in the jungle and the solo lane. So they're a lot more safe to pick this Ares because he's, less of a CC-orientated Guardian, less of a supportive Guardian, and more of an aggressor. So working along with two other, frontliners will really allow this Ares to shine as we see both Sun Wukong and Nemesis banned here.
Yeah, as well as a Ra taken away from Kanga Esports there as the final ban comes out. So mid laner prioritization from Kanga, jungle and solo prioritized by Legacy. Makes sense. As Rama's locked in for Legacy, still a lot of viable ADCs available, and they've decided to go with Rama. Solid pickup, does a lot of damage early, mid, and late these days, so can't blame them there. As prioritizing the Hunbutts here and Erlang Shen are the last two lock-ins for Kanga. So Hunbutts' Fear No Evil will be out and about yet again in the OPL. Always a strong ultimate no matter who's on that character.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Hunbutts and the Erlang Shen here. Erlang getting a little bit stronger here as some of the other solo laners getting some nerfs, and along with Death Toll being as powerful as it currently is, Erlang is going to be a very strong force in the solo lane. As we see the Soul coming out here for iDivine, and now one thing you need to know about iDivine is he is an amazing Soul player, so I don't have to worry here at all. I know he's going to play that well. And looking at these teams drafted, they both have a general idea they want to go down. Kanga Esports, they're very CC, very teamfight oriented, while we see Legacy more of a early game bruiser. I'm gonna kill your squishies one at a time. So both teams have their their goal with their draft. And I always like to say you need to have a goal in mind when you pick a team.
Yeah, and these OPL teams are likely to have those. I'm just wondering how many Sunders are going to be on the side of Legacy, to be honest. You've got those three
Probably
frontliners.
too many.
Yeah, 2 or 3, I'm guessing, will be the answer. It'll be pretty scary going anywhere near the tanky options there with the Sunder online.
All right, it looks like we are getting right into game here. We're going to see how these teams play it out. Traditionally Kanga has been underdogs, but now these teams are both showing as very strong contenders. So as you said, I do think this is going to be an excellent match to watch. Well, I'm expecting Legacy to be a bit more dominant early game considering of their team comp. Though, Kanga Esports, if they get the right start, they can definitely become, the aggressors early on.
Yeah, the issue with Legacy's comp is they have that early game aggression, but if they fall behind, they'll be in a lot of trouble as Vulcan, Fafnir, and Hunbutts all do very strongly with leads, not to mention Erlang Shen almost needs to be played from ahead. Even with his buffs, I think he needs that lead and experience and gold to really be effective in a game.
Yeah, actually, if we look at the actives here, we can't see any picked up while the game is paused here. Any Sunders for the side of Legacy, which is interesting, though it does make sense. I believe Sunder got a small nerf, so, not quite as capable, but still a very powerful relic as you see the support there. Tory Skies for Kanga Esports picking it up as well. And since we have a pause here, we can actually look into detail at the builds here. If we look at junglers, we can see the Death Toll over the Bluestone for Bologna, making a lot of sense due to her AoE basic attacks. And, these are pretty standard builds, nothing too spectacular. We actually see Soulstone on the Vulcan, which is, it makes sense because it helps with his early clear. What do you think about the build, Smack?
Yeah, I'm interested to see the double lonos pick up here on the two supports, and the blink on the air is obviously looking to engage. But yeah, I am a little bit surprised that there's no Sunder, at least on the Bologna in the jungle. Would have liked to see it there, just to give them that ability to pick someone off early if they do get a good team fight. So
Alright.
we'll see how we go here. And
Yeah.
I do like the
Yeah,
Soulstone pickup. So
Yeah, this is all set and good, but if you actually look at the Hou-Yi here, look what Galen's picked up. He's picked up a round shield. If we can hover over that item, we see it gives 10 physical power and 5 physical protection, as we see Weave actually aggressing onto Tory Skies here. So that's a very interesting pickup there from Galen. Looks like he's going to be building into the buffed Shifter's shield, since it gives so much power and a lot of protections if you're low as well.
yeah, I was interested to see whether Hunters would fix this up, as Limits gets taken very low there by the Ricochet early damage poke onto him, but Weave hits all 3 chains and returns a bit of it himself.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Kanga Esports as a team, so many of their players are real innovators in the OPL, meta. You see Galen picking up that Shifter's Shield. We'll have to see and keep a close eye on him how this game goes. If that actually works out, maybe you'll see other Hunters start to pick it up as well. And if we look at the mid fight, though, we actually see Kanga losing that out there, and we see the invade onto that speed buff.
Yeah, no surprises there. Sol and Bologna have plenty of clear early, and Osiris will come over and make sure they can secure both buffs here by look of things. As Kanga decide to invade onto the full buff here on the purple buff, so they'll get some experience their way on the other side of the map, so they won't fall too far behind. It's just going to be Erlang Shen's going to be left out on an island by look of things for a little while.
Yeah, what do you think about that, the whole trade left side buffs for right side buffs? Like, do you think that's a worthwhile strategy, or do you think they should have, possibly engaged onto Legacy when they were in Kanga's jungle?
I think the call is always to take what you can get safely in these early fights, unless you know you're going to have a good chance at picking them off on their buffs, on your own buffs there, with a man advantage. The issue is if they get the buff and you don't manage to steal it, they hit level 2, and you're stuck in the jungle with 2 characters that are already level 2, and you're stuck at level 1, so you'll be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that makes sense, as we see Envisionize actually going for these Oracle Harpies here to give them that vision around the Gold Fury. I mean, their team's a little less strong in the early game, so I really like to see that they prioritize those Oracle Harpies to make sure that they had sufficient, ward coverage to make sure no ill ganks came along, as we actually see Envisionize looking like he's going to go ahead and attack Divine, but Divine just simply walks out. He says, "Nope, not interested, mate."
Yeah, that's it. Smart play there from Idavan, knowing limitations of being there on his own as Sol, so just going to clear up safely in mid lane for now.
Limitations.
Yeah,
Anyway,
well
let's
done,
keep
well
on
done.
going here. I had to point that out as soon as you said it. But it looks, speaking of them, if you look at the dual lane here, it seems things are starting to stagnate here. Both supports still actually hanging out here. I'm expecting them to stay until level 5. We actually see Galen and Tory Skies have the XP lead 1 level ahead, but we do see Chain coming out here from Weave. That can put a lot of damage onto Galen, but he's going to be fine. He has that extra protection, so limits auto attacks, and the minions themselves actually are going to do a lot less damage to him. I mean, it seems like a smart pickup.
Yeah, it seems like it might work out. It'll just be interesting to see what the power spike is like in the early game, and see how quickly he decides to finish off. You see, he does start tier 1 boots, but already into tier 2 of the shifted shield with tower shield there. So,
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because that tower shield gives quite good stats there, 20 power and 15 physical protection, but then he definitely needs to go into that movement speed, because that tier 3 shifted shield is quite expensive, so it does make sense for him to go into his movement speed, get that safety with those boots. I'm expecting probably a warrior tabi on Hou-Yi to make sure those ricochets do plenty of damage, but this Galen pickup is really interesting, as we actually see the elementals coming out here on the solo side. We haven't really been looking here too much. What do you think about the matchups here?
I mean, Osiris is always going to bully an Erlang Shen, especially an Erlang that didn't get any buffs in the early game. So he's already a little bit behind in the farm, but Envisionize is over here to try and give him a hand. So they might be able to pick up El Chuckles here if he's not careful.
Yeah, that's the ultimate used there by KO. He's taking extremely low. El Chuckles does manage to jump away, though. That gank is a fail there. That's a 1-for-1 trade on ultimates. We see KO's ultimate used and Osiris' ultimate used. But then we see actually Freemason jumping onto Envisionize, the double bludgeon coming out, only hitting Envisionize there. But we actually see Weave coming out with the ultimate beams coming out onto Envisionize. Now we see a huge grouping here. Weave actually picks up first blood onto KO. Now we see the ultimate coming out of Tori's side. So you want to see if we can help his team out. Envisionize extremely low, but so is Freemason as he gets picked off there by Envisionize. Envisionize somehow trying to live, but El Chuckles actually picks up that kill. You see a giant meatball slopping down onto the enemy team as we see El Chuckles pick up Tori's guys. That's a double kill for him and the speed buff. That's a 3-for-1 trade for Legacy and the speed buff and the blue buff as well.
Yeah, massive fight there for Legacy. Caught out after using the Fino Evil in the solo lane, trying to pick up that kill onto El Chuckles, and El Chuckles just teleported back and said, well, I'm here and I'll have some more gold and experience, thanks. Not to mention that you've got First Blood falling the side of Ares. Ares from ahead, always scary. Going all the way back to SMITE World Championships Season 1 was the scary Ares being ahead.
Scary Ares.
That's it.
I mean, if you look at that team fight there, or rather that counter team fight, because what happened is KO was going quite aggressive. I actually see KO extremely low himself now. That ultimate is not going to help you there. Freemason going to pick up that kill. And speaking of Freemason, he was actually the one to start that counter initiate because Legacy was communicating together. They realized that they failed that gank, and now they have the opportunity to counter gank. And they got there way earlier than Kanga Esports, which is what allowed them to get such a huge lead at this point. You see them picking up elementals, you see them picking up, little side camps. They're picking up all the XP on the map. If we actually look at the graphs here, we see a 2,400 XP lead and a 1,300 gold lead. So Legacy in a very solid spot. I'm looking to see them go ahead and try and get this Gold Fury sometime soon, but we do have good wards coming out from Kanga Esports.
Yeah, a lot of it also had to do with the fact that they had the speed buff timers. They already wanted to head to that side of the map and take it again away from Envisionize on Kanga Esports. So it worked out well for them that failed gank came out and they were able to clean up as a result.
Yeah, I mean, just good communication coming out from Legacy, but that's what you expect from an OPL team. They are professionals after all. We can see a 3-man grouping here with Kanga Esports. I mean, do you expect this 3-man grouping to be really impactful for them? What sort of combos do you see for both teams in terms of ultimates?
Well, you're just looking at Ares. Ares needs someone to pop beads, so if Bologna can get a massive ult onto Desecrator and force those beads out, then Ares is in business. There's no CC immunity other than for Tory Skies on the side of Kanga, unfortunately.
Yeah, and not only does Ares pop beads with his ultimate, he also has a very powerful ability in his chains. He can lock people away from, using movement abilities by crippling them. If we look at this side of Kanga, they do have quite a few movement abilities. They've got the Fafnir, we've got the Ho Yi. You even cripple the Vulcan 1 as well, his backfire there. And then you also, cripple the Humbuts as well. So this Ares is actually a very good pickup here for Legacy. Well drafted, and it looks like they're doing well. I mean, 4-1, that's doing pretty well, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't complain with that. Even Erlang Shen gets forced to. He can't use his ferret or his turtle. His 72 transformations is completely shut down. So, yeah, it's a good pickup. And I think the biggest thing is the backfire, to be honest. That damage that comes out of Vulcan and the way that he can juke because of it. If he gets chained, he's in a lot of trouble, and a lot of damage is automatically taken out of the fight.
Yeah, and as we see the speed buff coming back up, as you mentioned, Legacy are going ham here. Desecrator picked up with the Soul Ultimate, but last hit by Weave here. We actually see Freemason using the Bludgeon, not successfully being able to lock down Envisionize there, and that's going to be another free speed buff. It's basically Legacy's speed buff at this point.
Yep, I wouldn't be trying to contest that at this stage. I'd be looking to maybe try and get a Gold Fury the next time the speed buff's going to spawn, see if they can sneak that instead if I was Kanga. I think I just have to give it up. This team comp's gotten ahead, that was their goal, and they're going to be in a lot of trouble if they keep trying to contest that speed buff.
That was actually an interesting decision there by Legacy. They didn't decide to go for the gank onto KO there. They instead decided to go to this mid lane, and that's probably due to the fact that the Gold Fury's up, and they don't want to let Kanga Esports go for a steal there. So Smack, what are you thinking about the Gold Fury steal attempts? What teams are having the best ultimates here?
I mean, Vulcan's always got the potential to steal any objective. Just that long range, massive AoE, massive damage ultimate of his just lends itself to stealing things. So I'd be looking, and not to mention you've got a Fear No Evil on a Hunbutz to make sure that the rest of the damage isn't put on from Legacy. So you're looking at Kanga to try and steal it away, and as you said, that's why Legacy has respected that solo rotation, is there is a good burst potential on the side of Kanga, whether they steal it or whether they engage on it themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, but if you actually look at Legacy's team comp, they do have quite a few ultimate potential steals on that Gold Fury as well. You mean, you got the Rama there with the snipes, he's going to be able to hail from above, make sure he gets the last hit in that Gold Fury. You even have, I mean, if you think about the Soul ultimate, the Bologna ultimate as well, even Osiris at this point could really be a powerful pickup. So there's a lot of burst ultimates here, and that's why this Gold Fury is going to be so heavily contended. Both teams a bit unsure of whether they want to actually go for it. They want to make sure that they have the perfect opportunity, which is most likely going to be something like a triple kill or something like that. So we're definitely going to have to keep eyes on there. And speaking of, Weave is actually looking towards Tory Skies here, using the chains to try and cripple and see if his team can go in, but iDivine not ready for that.
Yeah, just a bit far away, and it was well recognized by Tory Skies. It was a max range chain, so he could just kind of walk away before he could get hit by a couple more and locked down permanently.
Alright, if we actually look, let's look at the ADCs here, because we actually see the Shifted Shield getting picked up onto limits as well. So both ADCs actually going to pick that up, but iDivine actually managed to burst down Desecrator. We see the Rama actually in ultimate form here, not going to be useful at all there. The kill was already picked up at that point. Divine gets stunned out there by the Ho Yi. Galen doesn't actually manage to pick any kills up. Tory Skies is quite low himself, so I don't see why he's actually going to go ahead and engage here, but he really doesn't want to give up that Gold Fury, considering how important it is for this matchup. Gold Fury is already on half health, but so is Tory Skies. We see Vision Eyes coming in, he's got his Fear No Evil ready. We see Tory Skies using his ultimate as well, but now he's just going to get burst down. iDivine picking up that kill. I mean, we see Galen jumping here as well. Doesn't look like Kanga really has a chance with this Gold Fury.
No, they completely zoned out at this point. They went in a little early. It was a good disengage from Legacy, and they prioritized the players rather than the Gold Fury. So good call and good communication to back off and make sure they get the pick so they can get the Gold Fury safely afterwards. We won't mention Weave's completely whiffed no escape there.
No, let's just move on from that. We see Galen using his triple bounce there to instantly pick up those mid hoppers, and that's really important with a Ho Yi to make sure you can get those jungle buffs as efficiently as possible. It allows him to, you know, spend a bit more time rotating to those buffs, get a bit more XP. If we actually look at the Hunter matchup, yes, they are actually equal in XP, but overall the XP chart with 5,000 XP towards Legacy and 4,000 gold. I mean, Kanga Esports is the later game team, so I'm expecting to see them try and rise up to the challenge and, you know, hopefully pull a late game comeback for that. But we actually see our Chuckles pick up and Vision Eyes there quite quickly as well.
Yeah, it doesn't take long when you've got a Mystical Male Osiris to lock someone down. Not to mention he now has that Sunder online, and he's obviously just used that to pick up the Hunbutz there in that solo lane around the blue buff area.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, so I like the Mystical Mail onto the Osiris here. El Chuckles is far ahead at this point, 3-0-4, doing a spectacular job. But we actually see Erlang Shen going for it as well. KO, I'm not sure if he has, you know, the ability to go Mystical Mail at this point since it's such an expensive item. What do you think about that build overall?
Yeah, it is hard to build into that Mystical Mail when you are behind. You're not going to be doing as much, you're not going to be surviving as long, especially when you're having to wait that much longer for that pickup. So, but then again, you need something on Erlang Shen to be influencing these team fights, and Mystical Mail gets you over the line to get a bit more damage. I can't blame him for trying to put a bit more effort into getting it, but he's so far behind, he's in a lot of trouble. His Desecrator just gets completely burst in the mid lane there.
Absolutely exploded there, sorry to interrupt, but that Soul Ultimate just absolutely destroyed Desecrator. You could almost say that he got desecrated at that point. I mean, wow, what's that Soul going to do with that ultimate? It looks like they're rotating towards the Portal Demon here, which now has a bit less of a gold reward when you kill it in the patch 4.9. So team's not going to prioritize it as much, but it's still an amazing objective. But no, it looks like we see Kanga rotating in here.
Yeah, they recognize that that was probably the call if they were going to go for it. So just making sure they're present so they can't lose that objective for free. So good call there from Kanga, recognizing what was coming out there. You say that Kanga Esports has got the later game comp as no escape comes out here from Weave, pulls in Tory Skies and grabs speeds from Vision Eyes. Doesn't look like they'll have the damage to chase this up though.
No team is really going to be able to chase at that point, but Kanga Esports definitely need to play defensive here. It's quite clear that Legacy is looking for this tier 1 mid tower which, as we always say, will allow them so much more map pressure. That first tower falling is incredibly important for both teams, and Legacy looks like they're going to try and go for it now. They're actually seating up the tower here. We see the protections buff coming from Weave. Yeah, we actually see the ultimate wasted at this point now. Tori Sky's going to use his ultimate as well, but it looks as a waste as well. I mean, that's just 2 ultimates just wasted there for Kanga Esports.
Yeah, 3 ultimates as the Dragon's been used as well, so it's almost free now. If they get caught pushing or even under this tier 1, they can be in a lot of trouble if Kanga Esports decides to engage on them.
I mean, it's not looking good for Kanga Esports here, though it's definitely, they still definitely have a chance to win this. Obviously, it's quite early on, but we see 9 kills to 1. The graphs showing that, you know, Legacy is 6,500 XP and 4,700 gold ahead. So we're going to have to see Kanga Esports group up here and find some solo Legacy players here and really go for those gangsters. We actually see, you know, the grouping of Galen and Tori Skies here onto limits here. Let's actually see if they go for it. He's going to try and get that stun, but it doesn't look like he's able to reach that. I mean, what do you think that Kanga Esports should really try to do to win this?
They just need to get Desecrator online at this point. He's level 11, he's a couple levels behind. He hasn't gone into his Doomore build, which he's been doing a lot in the last few weeks, so he's got a bit of a safer build, but he's just not having any impact at this stage. They're finding an easy way to shut him down through those Ares chains, so it's I think it's all on the back of protecting Desecrator if they can, and getting Galen to late game, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, so the Bancroft's talent build for a mid laner is considered the safe build, considering it's rather easy to build into, but I just feel like that Bancroft doesn't really have enough, you know, of a power spike for him there. He has no penetration apart from the shoes at this point. I just don't see how this build is going to be effective for him at this point. He's really going to need to build something like an Obsidian Shard next to really get that penetration, considering how tanky Legacy is as well.
Yeah, he'll build into that penetration shortly, no doubt. It's generally the next pickup in this build, so it is a big power spike though. It is 100 power, so and it can scale up to 200 if he's taken very low. So I don't mind the pickup, but as you said, he does need to go into that penetration very shortly. It's just a matter of him finding some gold here so he can get that pen online.
Yeah, I mean, we see the grouping here of Legacy in the mid lane once again. They still are hungry for that tower there, as we actually see Envision Eyes going ahead and doing an overhead smash onto iDivine, but he's going to be safe and sound. He's got his Ares sitting right next to him saying, no, my mid laner. And I mean, Envision Eyes can't touch him when that's happening. We see 3 men rotating over to the duo lane here. And Limits realizes he starts to fall back. We actually see Galen landing the stun there, and a stun coming out from Tori Size. That's a CC chain, both beats and ultimates used. But now we see the ultimate coming out of Envision Eyes to secure that kill. That's just 1 ultimate to get that kill. So quite an effective gank there for Kanga Esports, and that's exactly what they need to be doing. They need to see those solo carries by themselves and pick up those kills.
Yeah, I mean, Limits gets to tier 1, so it's not for nothing, so at least they get the return kill to make sure that they don't get too much golden screens on that side of the map.
Yeah, we actually see a Gold Fury attempt starting out here for Kanga Esports, and they actually managed to pick up that Gold Fury as well. We're having a bit of spectator client issues, pardon for that. But now Kanga Esports picking up that Gold Fury, I mean, that's really good for them. They're actually starting to catch up.
It's good for them, but they've also just lost both the towers in solo lane, so it's pretty much negated. So unfortunately, yeah, it's always a catch. KO fell down to a 3-man rotation, and they managed to jump 2 towers as a result. So unfortunately, the Gold Fury, whilst great for them, they're going to even lose this mid tower by the look of things. So they're going to be in a lot of trouble here.
I love this. Ares has the speed buff on. They have 2 speed buffs and they decided to give one to Ares. This is actually an incredible idea because Ares is so immobile. Having that speed buff will really help him a lot. As we see the mid tower fall here. Now we see Desecrator using his ultimate, doesn't actually manage to hit anyone. So, you know, Desecrator not really on the mark with his ultimates at this point. As we see Limits actually starting the Portal Demon here. Doesn't look like Kanga Esports. No, they realize what's happening there, but Weave and Mason is ready to be in that front line and stop them from even going near Limits at this point.
Yeah, those 3 frontliners are so far ahead at this point that it's just near impossible for anyone to try and get in there and contest that Portal Demon. Can't blame him for letting them give it up there. Envision Eyes just clearing out the ward, trying to make sure he doesn't get surprised as they walk out of that jungle through the portal.
Yeah, I mean, looking at those past couple of minutes there, we can see that Kanga Esports is starting to catch up, but Legacy still holding a really strong lead, 8,000 XP and 7,000 gold ahead. I mean, What are you looking for next in this map? I mean, we've obviously got the Fire Giant. Gold Fury is still quite a far away, so are you expecting some split pushing at this point?
It does look like they're going to try and push up these lanes, spend a bit of the gold that they've had as they've already backed and come through the portal. I'd say the Fire Giant is going to be the next point of contention, and if Kanga lose that Fire Giant fight, even if they manage to steal the Fire Giant, if they wipe afterwards, it'll pretty much just be game. The Phoenixes will be taken, at least one Phoenix will be taken. So they need to be careful and choose whether they're going to contest this Fire Giant or give it up and try and defend other Phoenixes. You know, Eva comes out on Chuckles here.
Yeah, we see that ultimate coming out from Envisionize, and he's still chasing down El Chuckles, but he's so tanky that he doesn't take enough damage to die. Envisionize instead actually falls first. We're picking up that kill there. Very nice pickup there for that side. I mean, 3 tanky characters is just so effective. Legacy using it to its full extent at this point. You can even see Limits there doing exactly what I mentioned, split pushing that Joy lane.
Yeah, Legacy winning these 4v5 fights just because they can walk up and bully and peel for each other. Any of the frontliners get into trouble, the other frontliners are right there to peel the damage away from them, as well as having Idivine throwing damage back the other way. So really good communication and playstyles here from Legacy.
Yeah, we actually see Desecrator actually hitting a Vulcan ultimate. Well done for him there, but his Aegis and Beads both pop, but El Chuckles slaps him, winning his auto attacks and is picked up there. We've actually quite low, but Shell is popped along with the protections from his ability that are going to keep him nice and safe at that point. This Ares pick is really strong here, Smack.
Yeah, it's paid off for them. As the first blood going the way of Ares, I think really started this snowball going in the way of Legacy. That extra gold is just so valuable on a character like Ares, on a god like Ares. He just does so much damage, especially when he's ahead, and he needs that inherent tankiness of a Guardian being at least equal level with the other carriers. As he's actually ahead of the majority of Kanga at this point.
I'm actually angry because they didn't give the speed buff to Ares. I thought that was a great idea before, and I mean, Freemason already had a speed buff, but they decided to just refresh his. Maybe it was quite low, I'm not particularly sure, but I really do like that speed buff on Ares, and it worked out beautifully for them. But we can't really complain about Legacy's tactics at this point. They're doing excellent here. We see the Gold Furies are starting to get close to spawning here. Kanga Esports might want to look into warding that, but still protecting the Fire Giant, because they don't want Legacy to be sneaking that Fire Giant.
I honestly think they almost have to give up the Fire Giant at this point and hope that they can defend on a Phoenix. They've got good teamfight ults to hold underneath those Phoenixes, so I would like to see the call. If they can't get a pick, then they just retreat, heal up, sit under Phoenix, and see if they can turn the fight under there.
Yeah, as we see Legacy starting to prepping those wards at this point. Now Envisionize is really far in. The ultimate coming out from Freemason, forcing Envisionize's base there. We see the disarm, we see the ultimate coming out, but now Envisionize using his Sphere No, but that's not going to be enough. He's going to get popped over there by El Chuckles using his auto attacks. We see the Ares ultimate actually pulls 2 of them, KO and Tourist Guys, both the front liners for Kanga Esports, incredibly low. We actually see Desecrate and Tourist Guys fall. KO actually manages to use the turtle to get away, but now Legacy don't even need a Fire Giant at this point. They're all alive, and now 3 members of Kanga Esports are down, as we see Phoenix getting sieged up. Oh my god, Legacy's dominating Smack.
Yeah, this might just be game, to be honest. There's still 18 seconds. They can probably get a second Phoenix and maybe even siege the Titan if they want to. A lot of damage on the Sol and the Rama, especially with Dragon's Kasari finished now. They will try and defend this for Kanga, but I think they just need to let it go. We'll see if Legacy decide to continue. Oh, the surrender vote actually went through there.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm happy to see Kanga Esports surrendering there. I mean, it sounds weird to say that, but a lot of the time just surrendering, keeping your team's morale up is the best option there, and Legacy was no doubt going to win that game. So a really dominating first match there for Legacy. Picking the 2 warriors along with Ares really seemed to work there, so excellent job for Legacy. And now we're going to have a short break, and then we'll be back for match number 2. not Legacy. It's Noxide. Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the final set of Kanga Esports versus Legacy. I mean, the first game was an absolute stomp coming out of Legacy using 2 warriors and a guardian there. So I'm expecting Legacy to pull out something strong like that again, and Kanga Esports possibly to respond in the picks and bans. What do you think, Smack?
Yeah, we'll see where Kanga decides to go with their pick and ban phase this time, as they do look to take away that Osiris early, so don't blame them there. They're not going to let that double warrior meta affect them too badly, as Legacy will ban away the Ravana. Not want to give you that up as a first pick either.
Oh, okay. We actually have a spectator UI glitch here. It's not Team Noxide, it's actually Kanga Esports. So where it says Team Noxide, just read Kanga Esports for now. I'm sure we'll get that fixed quickly. Yeah, there you go. And looking at these bans here, we just see the Osiris and Ravana for now. Both are making a lot of sense to very strong solo laners, and they can both even be played in the jungle as well. So they're very efficient bans as well, as we see Susanoo here for Kanga again.
Yeah, again, they don't want to deal with the Susanoo. Not wanting, obviously, with the patch, Susanoo did get that nerf, but no one still wanted to deal with Susanoo. He's still doing so much, as I said earlier. As Socket gets taken away, speaking of just bringing way too much damage to a fight, is Socket gets taken away.
Yeah, I mean, we're really seeing the strength of these physical, melee characters right now in Smite. They're so powerful at this point, as you see all the bans are melee physical characters. They're just so incredibly strong. It's mainly due to the item choices. They have so much flexibility with items like Shifter's Shield and Hydra's Lament, and amazing cooldown options like Jotuns and penetration, even with like Brawler's Beatstick. As we see Bellona, you guessed it, a melee physical character, first pick for the side of Kanga, getting that away from Freemason and El Chuckles.
Yeah, but Legacy respond with a Hugi Fafnir pick, so as you said earlier, you love the Fafnir early prioritization.
I do.
And Legacy have decided to take it on board this time, as Kanga lock in Terra and Toth, Desecrator known for his Toth plays, so I'm sure he'll feel a lot more comfortable on this god, maybe a bit more so than he did on the Vulcan in last game.
Yeah, as we actually see Soul picked up here for Divine, which I always love, and I don't get why teams are not banning out that Soul, and I'm sure iDivine doesn't mind. As we see, the Fafnir Huyi was actually the ADC support combo last game for Kanga Esports, which really just shows how powerful those two characters are, especially in combination, as we see Sun Wukong, Kernanos, and Rama banned here as well. So we actually see Legacy valuing the Huyi over the Kernanos, as we see Erlang Shen banned here as well.
Yeah, Kernanos took a little bit of a hit in this patch as well, so still strong, but I don't think they really want to deal with it still, so take that away, as solo lane prioritizing from Kanga here. They don't want to deal with a tanky front line like they had to last game, as Nemesis locked in the jungle, so strong pick there in the Nemesis. She'll be limit the amount of tankiness that the Bellona and the Terra will have as a frontline presence. So
yeah, we actually see the Thanatos Medusa picked up here. Now, these two characters are both really strong in the current meta, but in the OPL at least, they've been seeing a little bit less play than they should. So I'm very happy to see Kanga Esports picking this up. They almost, in a way, have a similar setup to Legacy last game, where they've got two very strong physical, bully characters, and then the Terra there instead of an Ares to, try and help sustain their team as we actually get into game here. What do you think about the teams drafted here?
It's an interesting one. You've got the AoE as well as the single target on the side of Legacy in the form of the Nemesis, so someone's going to get burst down very quickly, but you've got a lot of sustain, a lot of abilities to get away from the damage on the side of Kanga, so I think they've learnt from that first game. They don't want to be on these gods that are a bit easy to lock down, like your Vulcans and that kind of thing, so I think it'll be an interesting game to see how they respond after that. It was a real stomp. You don't get to see those very often in between these kind of teams who are considered somewhat even in skill.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing for me in regards to these team comps is the CC available. You've got a lot of small CC abilities, but not really many, CC ultimates. So it's actually going to be interesting to see how teams play this out in regards to picking up kills. I mean, we've got stuns such as the Ho Yi and the Fafnir, which are just single target stuns. You've got your Thoth single target stuns, and then you have like some ultimates such as Galen on Medusa and iDivine on the Soul here, but nothing really incredible, like for example the Fear No Evil on a Humbat. So we actually see Galen and Tori's guys here starting on the red buff. What do you think of that, Smack?
Yeah, it's an interesting start, maybe just a response to the pressure that comes out of a Hu Yi and a Fafnir in lane. So they'll get here and they won't lose any creeps by the look of things, so pretty
They
safe
will
for
lose
them.
some gold.
A little bit of gold, but I mean, they'll take the experience. They don't want to fall behind in experience. That's the big thing, big factor in these early game fights. So, looks like Kanga and KO and Envision Eyes proxied the first wave, and now are heading into the elementals after stealing blue buff away.
Yeah, these are some very interesting starts coming out here from Kanga, and it's interesting to see that. Maybe they're just trying to switch things up a little bit to throw off a legacy and try and pick up this win here. They did lose quite heavily last game, so it does make sense to start, innovating a little bit at this point, as they're actually going to go ahead and possibly just pick up the smalls on this purple buff.
Yeah, they'll just see if they can find a fight here, get a bit more poke onto the duo lane combination, as they've been forced to use a fair few pots here of limits and weave, so they might actually try and secure this purple. Galen gets hit by the hammer.
Galen taking a lot of damage, but instead of going for Galen there, we actually see, limits. They're not going for the kill, but for the buff, and it looks like, no, TorySkyz did pick up that purple buff, and that's going to allow him to rotate and give penetration to teammates around him. So that's actually a win for Kanga Esports, and though we're quite early in the game, I'm going to look at the grass here, and we can, yes, see a 700 XP and a 300 gold lead for Kanga Esports. This is actually working out quite well for them.
Yeah, it's a different start. Maybe throwing Legacy off a bit here. It's what Kanga needed to do. Just give themselves a bit of confidence, throw a bit of jank into the meta, and see how they go. Everyone's still learning on this new patch. It's only released a couple days before these games, so it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt to this meta shift from Kanga, I guess.
They're actually getting the red buff on the side of Legacy as well. So Galen and his duo lane partner TorySkyz doing incredibly well for themselves, both level 4, whilst you see here Weave and Limits both early on in level 3, about midway at this point. So, I mean, Kanga is dominating the jungle. That's really what it's down to. And they're making sure that they control the jungle, meaning they control the pace of the game.
Yeah, as Desecrator and Vision Eyes hit level 5 here, they'll be looking for this fight in mid lane. See if they can get a pick for first blood here, as TorySkyz coming around the back, stopping Idivine back and locking one down.
The huge ultimate coming out there from Thanatos there in Vision Eyes, trying to pick up Idivine there, but he managed to use that immunity on the Soul 3 to get himself away scot-free. That's a huge win for Legacy there. That's an ultimate out of the Thanatos, who really wants to get a first blood with that ultimate.
Not to mention, Desecrator actually threw his Divine Judgment there. I'm not sure if he meant to cancel it or not, but it was a long way away from hitting anybody. It just kind of popped down in the bottom of the fight, so another ultimate off the board.
Wow, I mean, that's very, very interesting. You'd expect the first blood to come out there, but Kanga seeming to slip up a little bit at this point. They still are controlling the map, though, picking up their own red buff at this point. No real buffs for Legacy at this point on their left side to pick up, so definitely still ahead, Kanga Esports at this point, as we see an engagement in this solo lane in Vision Eyes and KO getting aggressed on here. We see the Chuck ultimate coming out. KO incredibly low. Freemason actually diving in with that Nemesis there, but he's taken so low himself, he's forced to use an Aegis. Soul ultimate comes out though to zone away the enemy team, but we actually see TorySkyz coming here with the support terror here, but he doesn't actually manage to get anything. It's just a bunch of, oh, I've almost got you. No, I don't have you. Oh, I've almost got you. No, I don't.
Yeah, a bit of a wash in the end. Well played by both teams to peel for their jungles and solo laners there. Kanga look to take away this blue buff. Chuckles will try and contest. Doesn't manage to steal it there, unfortunately.
No way that he can contest that. There was 4 members of Kanga Esports just sitting there saying, try it. Try and invade that. No, they get that scot-free at this point, and now they're just going to grab a little bit of XP and rotate onwards. I mean, the Gold Fury is quite alone there. So, teams are definitely going to start warding that up. We actually see Galen use his ultimate and force away Limits and Beads. That's actually a win so far for Galen, but now we see the ultimate coming out of Limits as well. So even though Limits doesn't fall there, Galen uses his ultimate, and Limits uses ultimate and Aegis.
Yeah, Beads and Aegis forced from respective hunters there, so both ults traded. No real harm done. Unfortunately, Medusa didn't have boots online just yet, so lacking a bit of that power spike that Hu Yi has on those warrior tabby.
Yeah, I mean, that's due to her picking up the tier 1 Morningstar there, so maybe that would have that detrimented her in the long run, but I'm sure Galen will do just fine at this point. We actually see Elementals picked up here, a 3-way split for Kanga Esports, and if we look at the graph, Kanga Esports are still dominating XP-wise. They're going 2,500 XP and 1,400 gold ahead, and there have been no kills whatsoever.
Yeah, they're just doing a really good job of controlling the jungle, as you said, and it's Desecrator's gone for this Doomor build, and I do like it. It suits his playstyle. Unfortunately, decided against it on the Vulcan, and it made sense as he was getting picked off early, but I do really like him on the top, and I do like to see people ban him out.
Huge damage coming out there from Envisionize with the ultimate. Now he just needs to swipe away at limits, but instead Tory Skies picks up that kill. That's a first blood for the side of Kanga Esports, and that's allowing them to have the power over the Gold Fury pit. We see Weave here trying to hang around, see what he can do there, actually stunning out Tory Skies, but now the vision coming out on the Gold Fury via the Oracle Harpies is on the side of Kanga Esports. That's a huge win there for Kanga.
Yeah, and good pick. Managed to catch Galen coming in, rotating in to try and contest those oracles himself, caught him on a ward and just burst him down. So good job from them. We can see that Hu Yi is building into the round shield, again going for the shifter shield in this game, whereas Medusa seems to be steering clear of it just for now. We'll see if she goes into it later.
I mean, Shifter's Shield is definitely an item you want to be picking up on ADCs at this point. It gives 70 power above 50% health and, 50 protections of each below 50% health. So it's a really powerful item to make sure that these hunters stay alive. Though it does take up one slot in their build, so we'll actually have to see how hunters actually fit it into their builds, because there's so many, potential pathways they can go with crit and penetration. I feel like the Shifter's Shield leans a bit more towards the penetration side since it's just giving you so much power. What do you think, Smack?
Yeah, I kind of like, the issue for me is where do they fit in their attack speed. Shogun's Kasari does bring a massive amount in auras, but if they're not around the front line that has that item picked up, then their attack speed's going to suffer. I kind of would have liked to see a ninja tabby, maybe even on the hunters that are picking up this Shifter Shield.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. We actually see Envisionize here, taking down the half health, Silence being thrown out there. We see ultimates coming out from Sol here, Fafnir going into dragon form. Freemason is forced to ages. We see Envisionize actually using his ultimate down to chase someone here. Freemason takes the burst into his face there. Desecrator picking up that kill onto Freemason, and now the speed buff is getting contested by both teams. Envisionize incredibly low, and Fafnir managed to secure that for his ADC there in limits. Now we see the side of Legacy actually chasing down Kanga Esports there, and that is, a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah,
but
they didn't
Kanga
expect
actually
limits
did manage to pick up that speed buff, so...
No, they did to seal it away, so it's not too bad. They definitely didn't expect limits to be coming in behind them in the speed buff there. I know Envisionize wouldn't have expected it to be burst like that from behind, so good rotation out of limits, helping his team out on that speed buff.
Yeah, I mean, that's good to see. Both teams are showing that they are playing well today. I mean, no team is really far ahead. I mean, if we look at the graphs, we obviously see 4,000 XP, 2,000 gold, so I actually stand corrected. Kanga is definitely ahead at this point, but they're not playing like it. It's playing like a very even game.
They are trying to bully the jungle away, so if they lose a player going into that jungle, but they manage to steal the buffs away, they're going to call that a win. They're going to keep that net experience lead, which really they do need. You saw how they fared last game where they fell behind and they just kept falling behind. So they're trying to do the same thing to Legacy in this game, where they get that early lead and just keep rolling with it all the way to the end of the game.
Yeah, that's actually exactly it. They've pretty much swapped team goals, not really the teams themselves, but Legacy here is going to be playing a lot more of a late game plan here, while Kanga is going to go for that early game. So you see them pick up the Oracle Harpies here, and we see huge damage coming out onto Tory Skies. He actually gets picked off by iDivine, and now Galen's not so safe as well, but Desecrate actually picks up Freemason. Galen is extremely low. Tick damage does not manage to pick him off, as we see Limits now being the one to take a lot of damage. Envisionize is not going to be able to secure that, but KO comes in and slams the hammer down onto Limits. Huge damage coming out from KO. An excellent ultimate there. That is now 4 kills for Kanga Esports and 3 for the side of Legacy. Chuckles actually picking up Desecrator there. So much action coming out from both teams.
Yeah, Terra's Blessing actually popped there. Not sure if that was a call that, go in and dive, but KO decides against it. Too many players under the mid tower now for Legacy, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, that was an incredible team fight there. Abilities flying left, right, and center as we see it. Starting up again here. We take so much damage. KO absolutely blowing him apart, almost dying there from one hammer hit. I mean, what is KO's just built the normal build there? Why is he doing so much damage?
I think that was a Death Scythe as well from Invisionize. That was a bit too much burst. I think it was just timed at the same time as the bludgeon hit, so it looked like it was all one hit.
We actually see Kanga just managed to secure that Gold Fury there. That was incredibly risky and incredibly close, but Kanga do manage to secure that, and I think you were right. I have to imagine a Death Scythe landing there. I mean, if KO did that much damage, then God help Legacy.
Yeah, no, that's release Verona bludgeon damage. If that was the case, we don't need to go back to that. We'll stay clear of that, thanks.
Anyway, we see the speed buff here getting worked here by Legacy, but we do see Kanga Esports hanging around, seeing if they can actually steal. We've got the Death Scythe, not the bludgeon, coming from Invisionize here to possibly try and secure that, and they do manage to start pushing off, and yes, that Death Scythe damage is huge, and Invisionize manages to secure that speed buff for him.
Yeah, we see Nemesis also building into the Shifter's Shield, so it's interesting to see these. Nemesis can be built a few different ways. She can be built ability, she can be built as a somewhat frontline god, and she can be built as a semi-auto attack god. So it looks like it's going to be the bruiser type Nemesis coming out of the jungle here for Freemason, but he's just got no farm at this point. He's really struggling to get any gold, and Nemesis does really need gold to get online.
I think it's less of a what am I going to build and more of a Shifter's Shield is OP right now, so that's why you're seeing Hunters and Junglers and maybe even Solo Laners picking up that item since it's so incredibly statted at this point. They moved so much of it to the passive and now it's just incredible. You actually see the ultimate coming up from El Chuckles, but he's so low. How is he alive? But no, Galen picks up that kill there.
Yeah, Chuckles doing a good job trying to steal away that portal. Throws his life away as a result, unfortunately, but he had to do it. He needs... Legacy needs a win to go their way, and Chuckle's trying to do it for himself there. They'll pick up this tier 1 in solo, but looks like they might trade the tier 1 in mid as Legacy respond in turn.
That's actually a win for Legacy because that tower's on so much more health at that point. Yep, Legacy looks like they're going to pick that up as we see Desecrator securing his own speed buff there. And now they're actually going to go for the tier 2 at this point, even though they're a little bit behind, but the positioning wise, it makes sense. And yes, they're going to pick up that tier 2, but now they're going to worry about running away, and now they're splitting up as a team. Freemason all alone. Looks like he might get picked up, but the missed ultimate from KO there. Now we actually see Invisionize stunned out himself, but now Mason is in a lot of trouble. Can he use the double Nemesis dash? No, he cannot. He gets picked off there, but that is so worth for Legacy. That's 2 towers that they were not meant to get, and they got it.
Yeah, you see the power of Soul and a Huyi there, as well as Coerce on the Fafnir. Extreme tower push is the only way to put it, really. Soul always been really good at pushing towers, and it showed right there with the Coerce.
Yeah, that was just misplay by Kanga Esports there. They were not looking around the map to see what was happening, as we see them actually going to go for this tier 1 tower in the duo lane. We see a teleport coming out. Looks like it does manage to go through. Now Visionize is forced on half health. He uses his beads there. Now he's going to try and ultimate out. He does successfully manage to ult out. He might even go back in at this point. We'll have to see. No, it looks like he's deciding to retreat at this point. Oh no, he actually jumps in onto Divine, and now he's so low. He manages to use the side for healing, and yes, he's going to get away, but that was so risky, and now Corey Skies is going to pay for it as the Terror. He's going to take a lot of damage. Not quite dead yet, but yes, now the chalk, axe comes down. That was bad play by Invisionize. I'm sorry, that was just bad play.
I mean, he got away with it at the sacrifice of his support. I think he was hoping that the Desecrator would hit a couple of people with that final judgment. Was just slightly off the mark, didn't get anyone to an execute range, so Invisionize a little bit greedy landing on the Soul, but I don't mind that play. You've got to be greedy every now and then on the Thanatos.
That is true. You can be greedy on the Thanatos, and they are quite ahead. 6,500 XP to 2,500 gold, so they can afford to make those mistakes, but it doesn't necessarily mean you want to. But as we move along here, we see the speed buff stolen there by KO, but he doesn't actually pick it up for himself. It looks like he already has a blue buff on him, so unfortunately, he would have liked that speed buff, but he can't pick it up.
Yeah, and Visionize might try and sneak in there and take it, but no, it looks like he'll just back and play it safe for now. Doesn't want to get picked.
Yeah, after that, he wants to play safe. Anyway, I mean, we move on here and we see, both teams are just going for the farm at this point. We see the Gold Fury is not quite up yet. Neither is the Portal Demon. So there's no real objective apart from towers to go for at this point in the game. But we do see Gold Fury starting to come out. Which team do you think is going to get this next Gold Fury?
It's really tough to call at this point. Kanga should have the upper hand in the sense that they're ahead. They have a fully stacked Doom Orb and a Spear of Desolation now on Toth. So if they can get a pick, they should be able to pick up this Gold Fury without any issues. But if they get caught out, they might be in a lot of trouble. We saw their map awareness a little bit lacking earlier, so they'll need to ward up and need to make sure they know exactly where Legacy are at all points.
They Legacy do have ward control overall around the Gold Fury, but you see Envision Eyes now counter warding at this moment. So really, you're right. It could go both ways. It just depends on how the players play it, and that's what we like to see in professional games. We like to see a a skill-based game, as we see Tory Sky's actually trying to initiate there, but not managing to pick off anyone. I mean, it's just so close at this point. Even though Kanga is so far ahead, they're playing it like it's even.
Yeah, it's a tense battle. Neither team wants to lose this game on an objective. As Chuckle's forced to ultimate here is the death from above. Pop here does manage to get that execute on the
Yeah, and we see Weave actually forced to use his ultimate at this point, and he's incredibly low himself now. KO is trying to hang it down, and yes, we see the bludgeon doesn't actually do as much damage as we thought, as we see Divine now, Aegis and Beads forced, and he actually just gets slammed, and yes, Death Scythe does damage, and Vision Eyes picking up an excellent kill for his team there, and now we see the Oracle Harpies along with the Gold Fury most definitely going to fall to the side of Kanga.
Yeah, Legacy forced to defend this tier 1 just from minion. It's literally one auto attack from falling as well, so they might be able to just pick up another little bit of gold bonus there and keep this game going in their favor. They're saying they're playing it as over it's even. I think they're playing it so they don't throw. They don't want to lose a game purely based off a bad fight, so I like this play coming out from Kanga, to be honest.
No, you're right. They're playing it patient. I was incorrect. They are playing this game patient as they pick up the Portal Demon. Now that they've got such a huge lead at this point, if we actually look at XP 10,000 gold, sorry, 10,000 experience and 6,000 gold, this is the point where I'm saying, okay, you've played passive, you played well, but you got to be confident in yourselves. You need to start aggressing like hells, and that's exactly what you're seeing. And Vision Eyes is just jumping onto El Chocos here, bullying him on this Thanatos. Such a powerful early and mid-game characters. We see Taurus guys using the CC. Weave does manage to jump away though, and we actually see Limit Split pushing here in the dual lane.
Yeah, you might be able to get a tier 2 here, or at least force out a teleport if it's available here. It's actually not available for Bologna, so you'll be able to get this for free pretty much. Fire Giant started up on the side of Kanga though.
Yeah, Fire Giant's already so low at this point as we see the Chalk Axe coming and secures the Fire Giant. Excellent steal coming out there from Lacey's. Now we see Divine using his ultimate to pick up Envision Eyes. That was an absolutely amazing play there by Legacy. Kanga Esports just slipping up a tiny bit there, and it cost them so much. That's what, I guess you were right, they did need to play patient. They did not have enough of a league, and Legacy just took that to their advantage, and now they're pushing the tier 1 tower in the solo lane.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of panic there. They realized they're going to lose a tier 2 in the duo lane, so they wanted to pick something else up other than the fire portal, and they get punished for it, unfortunately. Lose the tier 2 at the tier 1, lose Fire Giant, and lose Envision Eyes, so massive swing in the favor of Legacy there is, yeah, unfortunately, they were playing so patiently and it just got away from them a bit there.
I feel like it wasn't their aggressive level of aggression that was the problem there. I feel like they just needed to play a bit more before they went to the Fire Giant. They needed to force out a couple more picks at that point to make sure that they could secure that Fire Giant, because just because you're playing aggressive doesn't mean you're not playing carefully and well. They needed to force out Legacy a bit more before going to that Fire Giant. And yes, they were a little bit greedy at that point, and they did not manage to secure that. So a huge win for Legacy, as we see, them grouped up over near the mid lane. Envision Eyes almost gets stunned out there, but he's going to be safe and sound for now. Looking at the graphs after that play, yes, we see XP only at 5,000 now compared to 10,000 before, and only 1,600 gold difference. That's basically no gold difference at this point.
Yeah, so this game's swinging back in the favor of Legacy here. Kanga need to adapt and make sure that they can group up here and negate this Fire Giant. If they can, they might. But choosing to aggress here is Nature's Blessing pop, but Legacy just say, fine, we'll just walk away.
That's a free ultimate. They'll take it. I mean, Legacy are really playing well here. They're playing with discipline as we see them now slowly starting to siege up this tower. They're not going to jump in if they can't. I mean, there is a strong defense here, though, from Kanga. They are not behind at all at this point. They're just less ahead at this point.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Limits even just walking over to the mid lane, putting a bit of pressure there. The minions are quite heavily pushed up, so it'll force someone to go over and defend on the side of Kanga. They're just kind of stalling out here on this tier 2, not really wanting to push in and take too much damage.
Yeah, and we actually see El Chuckles engaging for his team. He knocks off Desecrator, forcing out the bees there, and now the Aegis as well, but now Tori Sky's getting low himself. We see Vishna's forced into the sky as the Thanatos is going to look to aggress possibly here, but no, he decides. Yes, he does decide to go in, and now that's a huge mistake. His Aegis is forced out, and nothing happens to Legacy at that point. Oh, that's soul damage coming out onto Envisionize. He almost dies there, and he lets them take the tower.
Yeah, they have to give it up at that point. They're too low. They need to heal. If they wipe there, they lose the Phoenix. They might even lose the game if it's a fair side. So, good decision there after the fight didn't go their way for Kanga to back off. But Legacy right back in this game and controlling the pace as Gold's pretty much even now. A little bit ahead in the favor of Legacy.
Now, I'm not going to be bashing on Envisionize here. I think he's an excellent Thanatos, but his ultimates have not been off in terms of landing them, but choosing when and where to ult has been a little bit, well, off, to be honest, on Envisionize. He needs to be careful with those Thanatos ultimates, because as we get into this, mid to late game area, he's really, his only boon is that ultimate. He needs to make sure he uses it with absolute perfection, so we need to be watching Envisionize there and see how he uses it.
Yeah, I think that was just maybe a little bit of miscommunication. The rest of the team decided to disengage and Visionize wanted to engage. Maybe not fully aware of the exact positioning of the rest of his team in those situations. So, maybe just a bit of clutter of comms is in the chaos of the fight. So, he's done it a couple of times, but at the same time, he hasn't been completely punished as a result. His team has suffered a little on the wayside, unfortunately, though.
Yeah, no doubt, as we see the mid tower actually extremely low here for Legacy, but they've pushed 2 towers already, so that's not necessarily a problem. We see the Gold Fury spawned here. Portal Demon's actually about to spawn, and now we see Legacy 2 members going over to this Portal Demon as the fight breaks out over the Gold Fury. So it looks like they're going to be guaranteed, getting that Portal Demon, whilst possibly getting this Gold Fury as well. But Legacy do manage to pick up that Gold Fury. But at this point of the game, that Portal Demon's worth more. So Kanga Esports, a huge pickup for them, getting that Portal Demon for absolutely free at this point. A good decision for them.
Yeah, not so much worth more in gold, but worth more in map positioning, especially with the Fire Giant about to spawn. So I like that call to give up Gold Fury to make sure they get the Fire Portal so they can contest this Fire Giant in the next fight.
Yeah, that was an excellent trade overall in objectives there for Kanga Esports, showing that they're still in this game and they're still keen to win it. And the Fire Giant itself is actually coming up now, so that's going to be a huge point of contest at this point. But we see Kanga do have the portal to just jump right back in there, and that's you see what they do. Envisionize and Tori Skies both jumping through, and they actually catch Weave off guard, but they don't actually manage to really make anything out of it. As you see, Thanatos' Scythe doing nowhere near the amount of damage he used to. I mean, it used to be half hitting that Fafnir there, and now it's barely doing anything. Yeah,
the inherent tankiness as well as the 3 aura items now picked up on the side of the Fafnir is just going to mean Thanatos isn't going to do a whole lot in this situation, unfortunately. Yeah, as we see both teams starting the dance around this Fire Giant, we're going to have to see who decides to initiate first and how the other team responds to really tell who's going to win over this Fire Giant. I mean, this Fire Giant is pretty much like the fair maiden at this point, and both teams are vying knights, hoping to, pick her hand in marriage, as we see KO actually starting to aggress and try and force Legacy away to give them some more zoning potential for Kanga Esports to pick up the hand of the Fire Giant. Obviously, we see KO doing a little bit of damage here, but he might be a bit too out of position there, taking a lot of damage there at that point. We see the Mark of the Crow on him, but he does manage to get away at this point. Yeah, it takes a Fire Giant shot just for the sake of it. Unfortunately, didn't mean to pull that with his mystical mail, but Envisionize is caught out here on his own. He's going to be in a lot of trouble, forced to ultimate away here. Yeah, and he actually does land onto Weave there. A good ultimate there, but unfortunately his team wasn't quite ready to capitalize on that. So we see Envisionize does know how to ult as a Thanatos, guys. This just in, Envisionize can ultimate. Honestly, it was almost even just for a heal. I don't think they want to invest too much into killing this Fafnir at this point. They want to pick off the Soul or the Hu Yi. Fafnir, annoying, strong, yes, but not your target priority when you want to sink all your damage into him at this point. No, definitely not the target priority here. As we see the blue buff getting picked up here by Legacy, that's always good to make sure that you're still getting farm while you're doing the Fire Giant dance, because you might be spending so much time thinking about this objective that you forget that you're still not level 20 at this point, so they are getting the farm that they need. If we actually look at the grass here, as Desecrator takes so much damage, forced to use his Aegis and his beads, we see the grass here, they're dead equal in gold, and only 4,000 XP lead for side of Kanga. Yeah, and they haven't been able to do too much as the experience lead at this point. It's pretty even. It's a little here and there, but it's nothing crazy on any one particular character. So, Legacy managing to stay in this game a little bit on the side of Kango misplays, but it's been good so far from both teams, and I'm really excited to see where this game goes next. After hopefully the Fire Giant gets picked up at some point. They've been dancing around it for a solid 5 minutes now.
Yeah, I mean, we see KO is a bit out of position at this point. We've actually using the stun. We see the Nemesis Soul taking away so many protections. KO almost instantly blown up there. Really good ultimate from Freemason. Unfortunately, not picking up the kill for them, as we actually see Envisionize now using the ultimate, not the ultimate there, so just engaging at that point. Doesn't pick up a kill either, as we see Tory Skies now zoning out the side of Legacy, making sure they do not engage at this point.
Yeah, but a couple of ultimates burn, or 3 ultimates burn on the side of Kangaroo Esports in comparison to just the 1 on Legacy. So Legacy looking to push their advantage as a result.
Yeah, as we see Legacy really zoning out the enemy team, hopefully trying to pick up some sort of kill at this point. They're actually going to start the Fire Giant here. And, you know, KO's jumping in here. They can't actually continue that Fire Giant. We see the ultimate coming out from Chuck and Idavine picking up Desecrator. And now we see KO using the hammer, but Mu Yi actually jumps over it. Now Limbus is going to use a lot of damage onto KO, as we see the Bologna ultimate landing smack bang onto Weave there at that point. But he's a dragon and he's tanky at this point, so he's not going to die there.
Yeah, Shell Pop for Kanga mitigating a little bit of the damage that came their way, but Fire Giant started up again. See if it's just another bait. Looks like it will be, as the ultimate coming out from Nemesis unfortunately gets stunned out.
Yeah, Weave actually gets a kill onto Envisionize there. Really good pick up for Legacy. That's just 1 kill, and that's exactly what they need to start trying to pick up this Fire Giant, or even a win. We see Soul using an excellent Stellar Burst there, getting a slow and damage onto both Galen and his teammate there. Now Galen, incredibly low himself, gets picked off, and Freemason actually gets a solo kill as well. Now KO's the only one left onto Kanga Esports. This looks like it's going to be a bang deal buck for Legacy here. They're going to win this guaranteed.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far just yet. Desecrator is respawned now, and they're taking a lot of poke in return. Chuckle's forced to ult even, although Divine Judgment off the mark there. It's a bit mistimed from Desecrator.
I mean, they've got so much time here. I really would have liked to see them try and get a pick onto Desecrator here and continue the fight. But they're going to play it safe, and there's no reason not to, really, because they can just play safe. They've got the advantage at this point. They need to fall back, pick up that Portal Demon, and back off. We actually see KO here. Might actually go ahead and try and steal, but Weave doing an excellent job of zoning, and they do manage to secure that Portal Demon, which is going to be immensely important at this late stage of the game.
Yeah, I do like the call to retreat. It's still a Bologna. She hits 1 big bludgeon, and you've pretty much wiped your own team. So, good call to retreat, pick up the fire portal, and just come back through, and again dance around this Fire Giant. I'm still confused how we've managed to kill Envisionize on the Thanatos as a Fafnir. He had about 100 HP left, so it was a close fight. Whatever happened there.
I'm sure he had his team with him at that point in the game. We see the Legacy grouping up here around the portal, because obviously they just went through it. They're still zoning out Kanga, but they just can't manage to get rid of Kanga enough to pick up that Fire Giant.
I think they just want to pick them off, and Kanga aren't falling for the bait just yet. They're going to wait until it's a hard commit onto the Fire Giant, and then trying to return the team fight once they get lower on the side of Legacy. But Legacy just looking for a fight, really.
Yeah, now they're actually going to go ahead and try and start the Fire Giant here, but we see the ultimate ready on the side of Kanga Esports. They can try and engage here. Looks like Tory Skies is going ham onto the enemy team, getting a 3-man route, and now KO landing his ultimate as well. We see El Chocos is fought to ult there. We see KO still going ham, limits forced into the Skies there, using his own ultimate and his beast, but still manages to stay alive. No one has actually died yet at this point, both teams making sure that their teammates stay alive. KO is actually taking a lot of damage, and he does manage to fall there, but we see Envisionize picking up a kill, and then Freemason falling with a pick onto Tory Skies, but Envisionize picks up a little chuckle, back and forwards. We actually see it looks like, yes, Kanga Esports with the triple kill on Envisionize. I mean, I was saying that his ults were off, but his gameplay is clearly on.
Yeah, beautiful work there from Envisionize. Actually looped in behind the speed buff, caught all of Legacy very low in the back line, and just pretty much wiped their team. As Freemason now trying to steal this Fire Giant away if he can. Trying to juke around the Thanatos damage.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't it look like... Oh, we actually see Divine coming in here. They might actually manage to steal this Fire Giant, but no, he's in his protective one, and Legacy do manage to steal that, and Freemason picks up Envision as we see Freemason jumping onto Desecrator here. Freemason picks up the double kill. What is going on, Smack?
I have no idea. I don't know what just happened, and Freemason should be able to pick up Gallon, although the A just popped it. Oh!
Galen picks up the kill! And Divine picks up Galen! This is trade after trade after trade. This game has gone absolutely bonkers. Just kills after kills. If we look at the scoreboard, 14 to 12. Sorry, pardon me. We see the goal difference now 4,000 ahead for Legacy and equal on the XP. Legacy is managing to bring this game back slowly and steadily.
Yeah, what is this game? I'm lost for words as well. I don't know
Oceanic
what just
Smite,
happened
Smack.
for
It's
the
Oceanic
last 3 minutes was just pure chaos, and Osh is not even playing in this game. He's already played earlier, so.
Oh, we actually see Legacy grouping up here after those shenanigans. They're going to go ahead and pick up small bits of farm. They're still not level 20 at this point. Not everyone is level 20. No one's level 20 at this point. So they're actually going to go ahead and head over to this Gold Fury, which should hopefully get their carries at least to that level 20 mark. I mean, this game's gone on for 30 minutes and neither team is level 20.
Yeah, it's just been chaotic team fighting over this fire giant, and it's been going on for a solid 10 minutes. It's fallen twice, but it's just been a dance the whole time, and it goes backwards and forwards, and no one's been able to get the upper hand completely. It's a really good game so far. I have no idea who's going to take this one, to be honest. It's swinging both ways so hard.
It looks like this game is actually going to go into the hyper late game, which is always a really interesting part of Smite to see in the professional level, because it happens so rarely. Usually one team manages to get a lead, they manage to push it further and further and snowball until they win at around this time or slightly earlier. But now we're actually going to see both teams probably going to all hit level 20 at this point, and that's when you really see skill overall, because both teams are equal in gold and XP, so it's really just down to which team plays better.
Yeah, it's gonna be close here between the two teams. You've got the crit builds starting to come out here for the side of both hunters here, actually, as Huyi's looking to build into Rage. I'm assuming that'll be the first crit item, unless he just goes for a straight Deathbringer, which would be a bit odd. But
I 100% agree with that, Smack. I 100% think that they should be building crit at this point. If this game is going to go to the absolute most late game, then I want full crit. I want the most crazy builds with just all luxury items at this point for both hunters, because they are really going to be swinging hard by the end of this, as we see the right side here being sieged up by Legacy, and it looks like they're going to rotate back over to this mid lane since there are a lot of creeps to pick up there. We see Vision Eyes hanging around trying to give a bit of info to his team, but I mean, how do you see both teams playing this hyper late game?
It's going to come down to the ultimates from the two majors, essentially. Whoever gets the first pick, or if a hunter manages to get some lucky crits onto a few of the different players, as Portal Demon just gets taken for free there by Legacy, Kanga deciding to give that one up. Can't really afford to push out of their base just now.
Yeah, I mean, Kanga is still a bit behind in terms of tower control. They've lost all their towers at this point. Their Phoenix is still on half health, so they definitely need to be making sure that no minions somehow manage to push through and pick off a tower unnoticed. So Legacy, overall, they have more map control. But I mean, this is really anyone's game at this point.
Yeah, interesting enough, we've got an Emperor's Armor here on the Fafnir, so sieging should be a little bit easier for the side of Legacy moving forward, and Shogun Sari as well finishing now on the chunk, so even more damage going to be coming that way for towers.
Yeah, we see Vision Eyes taken down to half health. He's forced his beast there, but now instead he's going to ultimate in Freemasons and execute Rage. Is he going to pick it up? No, Vision Eyes picks up El Chuckles instead, and now Kanga are running after Legacy here. They're going to run away like sick puppies as the wolves, known as Kanga Esports, are chasing them down. We see Wicked forced into his Dragon Ultimate. He's going to have a huge jump there as he uses it to cross over the side. They're not actually going to get picked off there, and Vision Eyes just misses the pick onto Freemason.
Yeah, we're gonna fall down here eventually. We'll go the way of KO with the last hit.
He dead.
Yeah, he gone.
He gone.
Unfortunately, just coming out of the dragon form in the lane, juked for as long as he could. Got the rest of his team out eventually, so not bad play there from Wave. Sacrifice.
Yeah, but this is interesting timing though, Smack, because we see the Fire Giant is just coming up, and Kanga Esports have a lot more potential here on this Fire Giant since they're already, prepped and ready, whilst Legacy is forced to run back trying to pick it up.
Yeah, and no real frontline here on the side of Legacy. They'll just walk in and try to fight. So they'll engage here onto Idivine and backline as well.
Huge ultimate coming out of Vision Eyes. He blows up Idivine with the help of his team, and now they're going to pick up this speed buff as well. That's a really good sign for Kanga Esports. They can head straight to the Fire Giant or even go and siege up a tower. Looks like they're going to go for that Fire Giant there. And now Legacy doesn't really have a chance to stop this.
Yeah, this should just melt. This should be free for Kang here. No real contest available as KO's zoning them at the mid tier 2 on his own.
Yeah, KO just sitting there like, you want to come? You want to come, mate? You fight me, bro. As he, uses that, but he's actually diving down onto it because he actually uses his ultimate. I don't see why that was used there, but it doesn't really matter at this point because they're going to just pick up that tier 2 tower, and now they're going to head straight for Phoenixes.
Trying to catch Limits with a lazy back, I think, is what happened there, but Limits managed to get away.
Yeah, as we see huge ultimate coming out there from Legacy, not necessarily picking anyone up, but zoning them off and stopping their assault head on. And now all the team of Legacy can really start to catch up and get ready, but we still have 2 side towers here for Kanga Esports to pick up, so they realize this and go head straight over to that, but that gives iDivine enough time to respawn because he's such a huge damage dealer at this point.
Yeah, they need that Soul around. Look like she's going to build into this Soul Reaver herself. So she's going to be absolutely chunking people. So
yeah,
we saw
She also-
Desecrator come up big in that fight under the Phoenix, hitting 2 people in the backline and taking them solo. That Invisionize could actually execute the chunk and take away that frontline presence. Really swung this whole period of play, I guess, in the favor of Kango as they siege up this tier 2 in the solo lane.
you want to know why that Soul's chunking so hard? Book
Why
of
is
Toth,
that?
full stacked,
Yeah,
with
that'll
Rod of Tahuti. That hurts.
does
I
hurt.
can speak from experience, that absolutely hurts as we see the Doom Orb pick up here onto Thoth is going to be hindering him a little bit at this super late game stage. I mean, Doom Orb, sorry, don't get me wrong, it gives a lot of power and it's really good at all stages of the game, but compared to a Book of Thoth, it doesn't give nearly as much power, so it's interesting to see how these builds are going to start to change. We might even see, I don't see him selling the Doom Orb at this point, but it's definitely an advantage for, iDivine on the Soul.
Yeah, I think he might eventually sell it in favor of possibly a Soul Reaver himself, as he picks up the Cronus Pendant, the recent buff to that item, making it a viable luxury 6th slot, or 5th slot maybe in this case, depending on how he goes moving forward. But I do really like that pickup on Toth. Being able to cheat cooldown, although he's not at max cooldown at this point, is very nice on those burst mages. More ultimates, more damage, always nice. If we actually have a quick look at the player damage charts, you can see that Desecrator is at the top with 25k, and then Chark on the side of Legacy leading the way, closely followed by the Soul.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting, as we said. I mean, I'm going to reiterate this a lot of times continuing this cast. I mean, it's hyper late game. We don't get to see this often in competitive Smite, so we see items that aren't usually picked up like this different Kronos Pendant here. I mean, it is really going to be useful for that, though, and I agree with you. I love the pickup here as we see Kanga Esports starting to siege over this left side. They picked up all the towers. Now it's time to go for Phoenixes.
Yeah, they'll try and siege up this left side Phoenix, obviously the priority. Always want to take this Phoenix first if you can. It makes the Fire Giant control so much easier for your team moving forward. It'd be interesting to see if they try to hard engage here through Tory Skies or KO, or whether Invisionize gets up in the air and goes for them. Find stuff down there.
That's a huge route coming out from Tory Skies. Doesn't actually manage to successfully pick off anyone as we see the Chark ultimate forced out though, so that's a good job there for Tory Skies. We actually see Thanatos ulti in here. Huge damage coming onto our Juggles. KO actually managed to pick that kill off. We actually see Limits picking up Tory Skies in response. Invisionize himself is actually on half health there, so he's going to need to use a nice sight here to heal up, and he actually misses it, so he's forced to retreat at this point. Invisionize incredibly low as we see Legacy chasing down Kanga.
Yeah, we just saw the power of crit on a Huye at this point of the game. He just hit Desecrator with 2 autos and took him from 75% to about 20%. So those crits come out. If he hits a 3rd one, he is just wiping any squishy at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we're expecting that from both hunters here. Huye's going to be slightly more effective at this hyper late game stage. I did say I'm going to repeat it. Hyper late game. We see Huye's slightly more effective at this super late game, but you can't really discount Medusa. She's still incredibly strong. She's got her enhanced steroid ability along with a huge crazy ultimate. I mean, who do you think is going to win this in terms of the ADC matchup?
I actually really like what Medusa brings to the table. The team fight, if you hit a massive ult, the game's over. If you catch anyone without beads, they're gone. They're out of the game. And they're out of the game at this stage of the game for close to a minute. The respawn times are going to be absolutely crazy. So picking off the carries, if you pick off 2 carries on either side, this game's over. And the Deathbringer online, those crits hit even harder increasing the strength of them by 100% is just nutty. So if she hits these crits, if she can get some autos off into the backline or a massive ult, she's going to be causing the game just to go to the side of Kango. It won't even be close. So I actually favour the Medusa in this situation. I think she's got the better stage 2 of her build at this point without that shifter shield.
I mean, that's a fair enough opinion here because it's such a late game stage that really any ADC is going to be incredible as we see the Fire Giant started here but fallen off by Kanga Esports. Instead, they're going to go ahead and try and initiate, pick up some picks here, and Limits is taking really low as we see that Thanatos is going to be in the sky, no doubt. He's actually still on the ground at this point, but he's going to be in that sky any second now as they actually instead chase Freemason. Tori Sky's picking up that kill for his team, and now we see Weave himself getting quite low there, but Idamine actually picks up Desecrator, and Galen is so low, but he doesn't actually get picked off here now. Soul is going to chase after Tori Sky, and even though he is a tank terror, Idamine's going to be chunking him.
Yeah, that Soul ult really swinging this fight in their favor. She's not decided to go into Soul Reaver, selling that, looking like she would go into a Cronus Pendant herself. Interesting on the Soul there, but it's not something we've mentioned so far, but the Bellona disarm should come up huge in this late game stages. Being able to deny a Soul or a Huyi from being able to do any damage is pretty massive.
That was actually really good there for Kanga Esports. They forced him off the Fire Giant here as we see Limits is quite low. Now it's going to allow Kanga Esports rest of their squad to come up here and try and take over this Fire Giant. It actually looks like Legacy's all backing off, and that's going to mean a free Giant for Kanga because they're just going to exploit it. Let's just have a look at this Fire Giant. How quickly is it going to pop?
It won't go down as quickly without Desecrator here, and Legacy are here to defend, so they've got to be a little bit careful that they don't lose this fight over the Fire Giant. They do get a lot of damage, and Weave should fall down to the execute here, although farming it well.
This is the ultimate! No, he still gets executed! Envisionize! Perfect ultimate! Screw what I said earlier, Envisionize is a god, he's amazing, he picks up a double kill, and now that's going to be a certain Fire Giant for the side of Kanga Esports.
Good attempt there from Weave to try and bait out the ultimate in the immunity, but Envisionize, being patient, waited for him to come down instead and just completely deleted him off the map. So well played there by Envisionize. He's doing really well. He's got 9 kills on the board at this point, and that early game that he had where, yeah, a couple of his ults are a little bit questionable, diving in at low HP and causing some team fights to go the favor of Legacy, but he's started to pick up his comms, and Kanga are looking really well synergized in these fights. When they manage to get a couple of people on their own, they're picking them off successfully, finally. So it's going both ways again. There's still no clear winner at this point in the games. All Phoenix is pretty healthy other than the right side for Kanga, and I just don't know what needs to happen to finish this game off. Fire Giant's been picked up. Do they finally make this final push down the mid lane or down any lane and get some picks and win the game, or does Legacy hold the fort yet again?
I mean, I just want to say to Envisionize, I'm sorry for being mean to you earlier. You're amazing. This Thanatos is doing incredibly good, but he actually instead gets blown up. As I'm giving him compliments, half health already, he's going to have to land an amazing shot, and he does, making sure he stays nice and healed up, and that Phoenix is going so close to death, but it just manages to survive. And Envisionize! My man Envisionize lands another ultimate, picking up a kill, but Idavine responds, picking up, not Tori Skies, sorry. He picks up KO there as well. This Thanatos is showing why he's so viable, even at this late stage, as he almost gets destroyed there. I love you, Envisionize.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. He's feeling himself after that play there. Just out of nowhere, takes out Weave and returned a lot of damage, unable to pick up the kill into Freemason. His Death Sight took him to about 50 HP in the end, but really well played there by Envisionize. But Legacy hold at this point. They hold their mid Phoenix as well, so it's going to be
impressive
as a 4v4 here for either team to really get much going. It's going to come down to whether Desecrator can get some damage off.
Well, I feel like KO is a bit more important into the team comms instead of Weave. At this point in the game, he's going to be pulling out a bit more damage than Weave and about equally tanky. But still, I mean, both teams are playing this to their maximum potential. It's so late in the game, 45 minutes. Now, this used to be pretty common in, Season 0, Season 1 SMITE. But nowadays, this is so rare to see a game go so far into late game, at least in the professional scene, as we see the sieging here from Kanga Esports continuing and continuing. I'd like to actually see like a Crusher pickup or something on one of the ADCs. That could be a nice benefit. And the Emperor's Armor that we mentioned earlier on the factory is really doing an excellent job making sure that that Phoenix does not die. As you see, it's doing so much burst here. It's attacking a lot faster than it usually would.
Idoline just scraped through from getting one shot by Desecrator with the ultimates. Had about 0 HP. It was very close, that's for sure. The A just went off a little bit late and just managed to survive. Very lucky there. Desecrator's ult's off the board, so Legacy probably have the advantage now. Fire Giant's starting to fall off shortly, so Kanga will just back off again. And again, Legacy hold, and it's been the story so far in the last few engages under Phoenix.
I actually have to give props here to Weave. This Emperor's armor, I mean, I didn't notice it myself, but looking at back at the gameplay, we can realize how much work it's done. I mean, you wonder how did they manage to keep that Phoenix alive 3 times in a row? The answer is in Weave and that Emperor's armor. It's been an amazing pickup, and I'd actually like to see Tory Skies pick one up in response, because they're not going to break through unless he does that.
Yeah, and another big aura item that's missing on the side of Kanga is a Shogun's Kasari. Sure, they don't have the soul.
No. Why is there no Shogun's Kasuri? I didn't even notice that. Everyone who watches my cast know that that is my absolute favorite item right now. It's completely broken in my opinion, and they don't have it.
Yeah, so they're lacking attack speed. The Emperor's Arm is stacking that attack speed onto the Phoenix, so it's going to be really
hard. And they have
for
their
them
own
to push
Kasari as well.
Exactly, so it's going to be really difficult for Kanga to siege up these Phoenixes if they don't get a pick and then push for those Phoenix. So I'd like to see them bait a Fire Giant here and get those picks, and then just take any Phoenix and win the game. If they get a Phoenix, they can end. That's the sum of it. If either team gets a Phoenix at this point, they can pretty much just push to ends if they're healthy enough.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And now that we've looked at these builds and we've analyzed the situation this late into the game, we can realize that might actually be the deciding factor. The fact that the aura items on Legacy are just a lot more effective at this point. Admittedly, Legacy also have a Gauntlet of Thieves. I mean, at this point in the game, Legacy's built slightly smarter, and that might come out to their boon by the end of it. But Kanga Esports still mostly dominating in regards to map control, as we see the speed buff stolen here by Kanga Esports. This has been one hell of a game.
Yeah, speed buff and red buff, the 2 relevant buffs at this point in the game, really.
Yep.
But, if you can have a speed buff, it's nice. So, Fire Giant does get started up by a Kanga. I'd like to see them leash this as soon as Legacy show their face in any dramatic fashion.
Yeah, and they correctly leash it immediately here. We're going to have to see an amazing ultimate come out here from Envisionize as we see Divine's incredibly low, but no, he doesn't actually go into the skies yet, because we see just how low Divine is. Now he's in the sky, and now Divine actually gets picked up, and he gets a double stun onto El Chuckles and Weave, but that's not actually a good idea, because yes, these 2 men are tankies. We see Limits almost die here, and Envisionize instead is picked off by Freemason. Limits is somehow alive.
And Desecrator falls to El Chuckles in the backline. Didn't have any peel from his support or his solo there, and now we've got Galen taken very low as Limits is still hanging around, and they pick him off. That might just be game. On it, they just go back, they heal, they push for a win. The respawn timers are still 55, 60 seconds on the side of Kanga for any damage.
68 on Galen there. I mean, they don't even have to go for Fire Giant at this point. They've got such an advantage here. 3 members of Kanga are down for a full minute at least. Now they're just going to push, and they're probably going to win.
Yeah, they should honestly end here. As soon as Limits is here and can bring that
they're going to wait for the
objective.
ADC.
Yeah, they need the objective push. The ADC brings that late game. I mean, Nemesis has a little bit of pen, but not going to be doing a whole lot to towers.
They're going for Fire Giant, and I actually agree with this at this point. Limits was quite a far bit behind. Unfortunately, he had to go ahead and heal up considering how low he was. So instead, they're going to get the guaranteed Fire Giant, so they do make the right decision. I'm loving Legacy's decision making here. Early game, they were making sure that they played with discipline, and now they're still playing with discipline. They're making sure they don't make any mistakes, whilst Kanga, you might say they've been playing a little bit better, but they've made quite a few mistakes.
Yeah, I still think Legacy probably could have ended there instead of taking the Fire Giant. There was still so long to go on those respawns, and yes, Limits was on his way and he was a bit further back. He had to back to make sure he could heal up, but there were buffs he could have healed off. There were minions that he could have healed off. So I would have liked to see them push, especially with that Emperor's armor. They should have been able to shred those Phoenixes. At least get a Phoenix.
Well, I mean, okay, let's do a bit of probability maths here. I know you guys, a lot of you probably hate maths in school right now, but the probability there was they probably had about 60% chance to win that game straight off the bat there. But then if that 40% happened, then they just lose. They would have given away such a huge advantage. And that's why I respect Legacy's decision. Even though they were more likely to just win off that push, instead they decide to go back and make sure that they get the Fire Giant. Now they're going to obviously start sieging these fights. And with that Emperor's armor, which by the looks of it, Kanga still hasn't picked up, along with the Shogun's Kisari, which by looking at it, they still haven't picked up. I'm actually expecting Legacy to win.
Yeah, I think Legacy just pushed to end here. They've got the Fire Giant now. They have all their items online. Huyi's now got a Titan's Bane as well for a little bit more extra pens. So these objectives should just melt. And not to mention the gods. If he hits any of the gods, they're probably disappearing as well.
Yeah, interestingly, he's only going for a single crit item at this point. He's really looking to be boxing the players and the towers rather than the players, considering we see the Galen here with triple crit. He's got the Malice Deathbringer and Rage combination, so he's pretty much always going to be critting. But I actually like this decision coming out of him, because I feel like it's a better build at this point in the game for his team's playstyle. So we're going to see, you know, Kanga Esports making sure that they can't go for the Phoenix, so it looks like it's pretty much stalemated again.
Yeah, it's going to be another siege here, maybe, if Legacy decide to go for it. I think they have to. They have to do something. They can't just have this Fire Giant and not take anything the way that Kanga had going for them in the last 20 minutes. It's been going for so long. They didn't manage to pick up any finishes. They couldn't end, and they end up throwing over the Fire Giant.
Okay, we see the final push coming out here. Which team's going to win? We see the ultimates coming out from both teams. We actually see Envisionize in the sky. He's going to land right onto El Truffles and pick up... No, he doesn't actually pick up that... Oh, no, he does pick up that kill. My bad. Envisionize now picks up a double kill as my man. Envisionize going to carry this game, but no, instead Divine actually picks up a kill himself. But now he gets stunned down. Envisionize! I love you! Triple kill!
Well, I was just saying that Kanga had maybe thrown this game, but looks like it's going to go the way of Kanga. I think they're going to take the initiative here. They're going to push around. I don't see a Nemesis and a Fafnir being able to hold them out here for another 50 seconds. Yeah.
Kanga Esports have defied my probability maths, and the builds, they're actually slightly worse off considering they're building, but they still managed to win. And I mean, I'm not surprised by it. Kanga Esports is an amazing team. This has been an absolutely slog of a game, but it looks like they're going to win. I mean, both teams had their ups and downs, but Kanga Esports are going to manage to pull through here, and I see absolutely no way in which Legacy defends it. You know, see the Tory Skies there with the healing there, which is Thanatos executes Freemason. That is game, set, match. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an absolutely crazy game.
Yeah, it's Titan's falling here. It should go down eventually. We've going to take him very low. As Galen managed to pick up one more kill for the slash line there. Well played. 26 to 21 reads of kills, and a 53-minute game, or close enough, goes the way of Kanga Esports.
Place your bets in the chat for who's going to have top player damage, or how much it's going to be, rather, as we get into the endgame stat screens. But we're going to actually have a look at that. I really want to see the damage charts here overall, because that was a 53-minute game at that point. So if we look at the charts here, we can actually see the top player damage goes to, round of applause for, it looks like Desecrator.
Divine
no,
about
it is
300.
actually Divine here. Divine just barely by 300 damage picks up top damage. So there's a small win for Legacy there, but amazing play by both teams. Kanga Esports and Legacy doing incredible jobs, both having their ups and downs, but it went well. And so I just have to do a quick announcement here that the match, or rather the set between Avant-Garde and Darksided was, the replay was corrupted. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see that. So unfortunately, guys, this is the end. My name's Woofin, and I've been with Smackamoose. Thank you guys for watching so much, and goodbye.